What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV on a day which could be Mohamed Kudus Day, people. Apparently, he is going to be doing his medical today. We've got some more news to bring you as well. Spurs look like they could be moving mad in this transfer market, finally arriving. But without further ado, I think it's time to bring on a very special guest today. And he goes by the name of Nikki Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV. Nikki, how you doing, mate?
I must be mad coming on here. I've seen more of your days than I've seen on my own. So, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Yes, yeah, as well as can be.
Nikki, I've seen the West Ham fans have... seems like they've been in bloody meltdown for the last 24, 48 hours. What's it been like being inside it?
It is like that. And listen, we will talk about this a bit in a minute. There's a lot going on at the club at the moment, and it's not good. It's not good news at the moment. We've got these PSR regulations apparently hanging over us. There's debate whether that's true or not. You know, should we get into you guys? You know, and that'd be a debate. Personally, I don't really care, but I think there should have been a Tottenham tax. But that's the way we should operate with people around us in the league. And yeah, it's not great, boys, but we carry on.
Nikki, once upon a time, you came on the channel. We were sitting here right in this very studio, and we were talking about Mohamed Kudus, and you were saying, you know, this guy's a brilliant player. He's going to leave us. He's going to leave us one day, and he's going to go on to bigger and better things and join a top six club. And look, true to his word, true to your word, I would say.
It's quite a top six club, boys. I know you're playing quite a top six club, but no, listen. Mo was, at the time when I was speaking, Mo was electric, and I think you will see that. I think you will see that from Mo. Mo was electric. He came in, he hit the ground running. He's built for the Premier League. He's got all the strength. He's full of running. He's skillful. He was looking to really impress in that season. But what we've seen from Mo since, and this is, I think if we went back to his highlights package from last season, all we'd see is him slapping three Spurs players, and that would have been game over. You know what I mean? Because he was that bad, you know. And listen, someone's going to get the best out of him, and we just wasn't getting anything near that. He obviously wants to go and play Champions League football. You boys are playing Champions League football, and all luck to you. And hopefully you can get a player there. And but I think in terms of the deal, I don't think we've got the best deal, and I think that's what a lot of the West Ham fans are angry about, is that we could have pushed it a little bit more. But we are so desperate to sell that this deal just sticks in the back of the throat a little bit.
Is there a rush to sell? Is there a timing issue?
Yes,
what's that about?
We haven't got a pot to piss in, as the old proverb goes. But listen, I think David Sullivan played his hand too early. I really do. We all know Chelsea. He was hoping Chelsea were going to come in and start sort of a bidding war. They're still over in the Club World Cup, so he could have held on for a little while longer. Mo's sort of starting to make some noise now. Once you get out, which I don't blame him, to be quite honest with you. I know that there's going to be people, that it's going to sting a bit that he's going to Spurs. But the club have made it very clear that they are willing to sell him, and they need to sell him, and they want to sell him to get some money in. So listen, I can't blame the guy really. I don't like it. I don't think I'll ever like it. I don't think if it was the other way around, you guys wouldn't like it. But at the end of the day, we can't really blame the guy, because the club have made it very, very clear. You're not going to be the first one out the door when the transfer window opens. So I think it's a bit pride and ego hurting a little bit at the moment. There's a lot of stuff coming out from your fans. We're going to take your best players. Listen, I mean this with the greatest respect. And it's, a lot of people said I'm salty. A lot of people said sour grapes. A couple of years ago, if you would have been taking Mo Kudus, I'd have said, yeah, absolutely, you're taking our best player. Last year, he was far, far from that. And there wasn't much competition, to be quite honest with you. So, he was far, far from that. He's not. If you look back at my videos, I was always happy for him to go. But I don't think we got the best deal. And I think we've panicked a little bit and shown our hand too early.
But I mean, when Spurs fans are saying we've taken your best player, it's more of like best player on quality. Maybe last season he wasn't great. But in terms of what he can bring to a team and his potential, he's definitely close to, if not your best player.
I think Bowen outweighs him by a long shot, but and Paquetá on his day. But listen, he's up there. He's up there on his day. You know, when he's on form, when he's on fire, and he wants to play, he can play. The issue is you know, I started to wonder about Mo's motivations. You know, I think ironically that breakdown at Spurs was the beginning of the end for Mo. You know, and that thing when he's going around slapping people in the face and he's head-butted one and slapped two others. You know, I think that was the frustrations coming out. What he's frustrated with, I don't know. You know, maybe he was feeling that there was going to be a big bid in the summer, and he, you know, and we would let him go, and it didn't come along. Maybe he just didn't want to play for the club. Maybe he's seen something that we ain't seen. I don't know, but yeah, ironically, the mental breakdown versus Spurs when he started, you know, kung fu fighting everyone was the beginning of the end for him, and we've never really seen anything decent of him since. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that's what you speak about, because I remember, again, you were in here for a preview where we were speaking about things not going right for Kudus. This was very early on in the last season. I think we played you, 6 games in, and I think I think he had a fight with Lopetegui at the beginning of the season, and you kind of at the time, obviously it was very early on, you weren't to know at the time the season he was going to go on to have, but at the time you were saying it's because he's playing out of position, he's maybe not happy with the direction the club's going, he's not happy with the manager, so... Yes. Is that kind of the reason it went wrong? Was there more to it? Is there a mentality issue with him? Like, what would you bore it down to? Why it went as badly as it did last season for him?
I think it was a mixture of all of that. I think he started to become. I know some people that personally. I'm not going to say they personally knew him, but we've got a group called the Ghanaian Hammers, and they was very close to Kudus when he first came, and from what I hear. And you know, I won't quote any guys for telling me this, but he became very distant and he became very self-involved and, you know, didn't really want to interact with anyone in terms of the football club. A bit like what Payet went through, I suppose, at the end. So, you know, when a player starts, listen, you can have all the talent in the world, you know, and Kudus, and I'm going to say this, and I think you will get, you know, you've got a fantastic player. No doubt about it. But when his mind is not on it, he's not a guy that you want in your team. You know, when things are not going his way, you know, he's hardworking, you know, robust, you know, taking everyone on and making the team shine and the team tick. It became very much a case of Mo Kudus was doing what Mo Kudus wanted to do. And if Mo Kudus couldn't do what he wanted to do, he didn't want to play. You know, and that, for me, you know, and I know every football fan should be the same. If they're not working for the team, they're not working. You know, and it is time to leave. And I've been saying for a while, you know, when it comes time to it, we knew he had the clause in his contract, the £85 million release clause. I didn't think we'd get the 85 million. We was hoping a club in Saudi would come along and activate something like that, and he would, you know, be tempted by the money. But you know, he obviously feels like he's got unfinished business in the Premier League. He's going to be playing Champions League football, which is something he was never going to be playing with for us, because we wasn't in the UEFA Cup competition. We're not going to win it through the league. So, you know, I think that's what's attracted him to Spurs. I don't think there's the queue coming out the door that he thought there was going to be, and I don't think West Ham thought there's the queue coming out the door that West Ham thought there was going to be. So I think it's a chance for him personally. And I know that a lot of Spurs fans are not going to like this, and they're going to say it's sour grapes. But I've got to say it how I see it. I think he's looking now to play that next level up, and then move again. You know, and you know, you don't want to get into that position with him because, you know, when it's not, as I said, we found out the hard way. When it's not going his way, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to play. You know, doesn't want to put in effort. But he is a talent, and you know, all of them. You know, them bad traits. He's got a lot of good traits. You know, if he gets working for the team, if you fit him in, if you get somewhere with a manager, if he feels that the football's going his way, if you start doing well in the Champions League, it will be fantastic. He will be fantastic. But, you know, it's down to Mo Kudus at the end of the day. So, yeah, you've got a good player.
Nikki, are you surprised about the way it kind of went down. You know, we started hearing at the beginning of the week saying, "Oh, Mo Kudus only wants to talk to Spurs," and you know, a lot of West Ham fans showed that as a big sign of disrespect, obviously, with the rivalry between the two clubs. So, I mean, what were your thoughts when you started hearing those kind of noises come out?
I mean, you have to think about these people's these players as people. You know, you can't just look around and say, you know, I don't personally know what Mo's family life is like. I don't know what his, you know, personal life is like. I don't know what he's settling in life is like, whether he's settled down. But you know, the distance between Stratford and Tottenham is not major. He can still, you know, live in the same house. His kids could probably go to the same school. You know, when you think about football players, you know, you've got to think about that big upheaval that they have if they go for. I hear Aaron Cresswell today's going to Stoke. That's a hell of a slap to to move your family and all that. You know, late on in your career. So you've got to think of them as people. And when, you know, we was hoping Chelsea were going to come in. When Tottenham come in, he probably thought, well, you know, in terms of the way I'm settled, the way my family life is, the way, you know, my friends, you know, my housing situation, Tottenham come in, I think it's perfect for him.
But Nikki, do you not think there's a case to say, you know, well, maybe I'll leave the door open for a Chelsea bid to come in, or I'll leave a door open for an Arsenal, because I'm looking at Arsenal going for Madueke, and I think Kudus is a much better player than Madueke.
Again, it can be. I think he let himself down last year. I think he put off a lot. I think if he'd have performed even half the way he did at the beginning of the last season, I think he's played. But you know, listen, I don't want to downplay Spurs, because Spurs are, you know, they're playing champions football. Yeah. You know, and you know, I don't want to turn around and say, oh, you know, would he be better at Chelsea? Would he be better at Arsenal? At the end of the day, Chelsea and Arsenal ended up with the same amount of trophies as you. So, well, one of them got less. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can't downplay Spurs as a football club, because, you know, and at the end of the day, you don't know what Levy's plan is now. You know, you're looking at today, they're looking at all of these transfers and all of these, you know, these different deals. They're exploring these different deals. There's obviously some movement there. So, you know, he could have been convinced by a project. You know, there's a new manager there. You know, they may be winning the trophy they think is going to open the door for more. So, you know, I can't disrespect his, you know, his feelings, but it as a West Ham fan, it does sting. It does sting for us, because I think we should have got more money out of it, and I think that would have been.
Has he not become public enemy number one now, though, with this transfer, with the fact that he said, well, not publicly, but he said, you know, the reports are saying he only wanted to choose Tottenham. Is this not like a major betrayal? Is this not akin to a Tottenham player asking to join Arsenal, or a Liverpool player or an Everton player asking to join Liverpool? Would you not compare the two?
No, I don't think so. Because I think a lot of people, you know, their anger is being directed at David Sullivan, and how we found ourselves in this position. You know, how we found ourselves offloading one of our so-called superstars and having to sell to a rival. And I don't think, as I said, I've got quite a few. I mean, your fans would want me to believe that you've taken Messi off of us. You know what I mean? And we don't feel that. You know, it's just that, you know, we all know he was going to go. We all accepted he was going to go. But I think the anger is being directed at David Sullivan, and a lot of the onus at the moment. Of course, there's going to be fans that turn around and go, you know, you should never join them, and you should never do this, and you should never do that. But I think a majority, or at least a good amount of people, are turning around and saying, like, you can't blame him. You know, they've told him, you're not welcome here anymore. We don't want you. We are willing to sell you. And if Tottenham are the only ones in the hunt, then Tottenham's are the only one in the hunt. What do you expect him to do? He cannot stay here. You know, so yeah, it's. I don't think we will really gauge it until we play each other at the London Stadium, and then we'll start to see how much people don't like Mohamed Kudus. But you know, I'm in that boat. You know, as I said, personally, I don't like selling players to Tottenham. You know, and we've had people in the chat. It's just because of an ego thing. You know, we've had people in the chat. You know, when we wanted to take your best players, we took your best players. We took Carrick, we took Defoe, we took Parker. We took Freddie Canute, but the difference between then and now is that that time we was in the Championship for every one of them transfers, and now we're in the Premier League, and like we are competing, you know, and people who turn around and say, you know, we're not rivals, we're not competing. We finished 15th and you finished 17th, and we were bad, you know. But you know that's up to your fan. You know, I know you've got bigger plans, and you know they're going to be hoping that the Thomas Frank appointment works out, and you know these signings come good. But you know, it does sting in the throat a little bit when you're selling to people that are, you know, whether you want to admit it or not, you're in and around us in the league, and you have been for a couple of seasons, because we've been up there and we've been down there, you know. So yeah, I think that's the onus at the moment.
In terms of taking it back to Kudus, the player, that first season, what the player you saw in that first season, how good did you feel like he was, like in terms of like a transfer you had made, or a foreign player coming to your club? How highly did he kind of rank among those kind of players?
I think he was one of the best. You know, I think there was only a couple I could think of that made a bigger impact than him coming straight at the bat. And one was Dimitri Payet, and the other was Paolo Di Canio. That's how far we're going back. You know, in terms of like a player coming from a club abroad and coming in and making an instant impact. I mean, impacting the team straight away for the positive. He's one of the better ones. You know, as I said, the only ones I can think of making a bigger impact was Dimitri Payet, and Dimitri Payet hit the ground running and he never stopped. So, you know, but you know, as well as, and I know people are going to say I'm sort of it's cope and all of this sort of thing, but for as good as he hit the ground running, he fucking stopped like Roadrunner at some point. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when Roadrunner and Wiley he just and he stopped, and that was it. That was all we got out of Mo. So, you know, as I say, if you get the player that we had last season, magnificent signing, worth every penny. You get the player that we saw the previous season just gone, you got another Richarlison on your hands, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
so
is there a case to say, Nikki, you know, first year you played him in his strongest position consistently, and then the second year, different managers, and he was pulled around everywhere, wasn't he?
He was pulled around a little bit, and obviously different managers get different impacts out of different players. And yeah, he was asked to do a bit of a stopping job, but even when he pulled out from the right to the left when Bowen came back last season, he was still magnificent. You know, and you know, maybe it's, you know, I said to you, I've seen interviews with him, and I can pull them up for you, and I'm sure you'd like to see him and you'd like to share them with your audience. You know, he prefers to play as a 10. And I know, again, people are going to say this is cope, but at 10, we've got Brazil's number 10. You know, he wasn't great last season, but we have got Brazil's number 10. On the right, we've got Bowen, who's our best player. So, like, them two positions that he prefers to play in, I feel was taken up by players that he was never going to get in front of. So, you know, he was chucked out a bit on the left. Maybe it was a case of, you know, he didn't feel like he was respected. And if Spurs play him, you know, in terms of like his best position, because as I say, you know, when he was good, and I mean really good. You know, so you know, if Spurs get him and they ask him what his position is and they play him there consistently, maybe you get more of a tune out of him. Maybe it was the fact that we was pulling him around left, right, and centre that he thought, you know, he wasn't as important to the team as he thought he should be. But you know, again, I will reiterate: if he starts with you the way he started with us, you love him. If he stops, hate him.
Again, sticking on him, the player, in terms of what really excites you about him, what he's like amazing at, and on the flip side, you know, what he's not very good at, what you think he's going to need improving if he's going to become a top player. What would you say those two things are?
His strength, his determination, his ability to guide through players at times is second to none. Some of the best I've ever seen. His final product can be dodgy. You know, sometimes he'll hit one from 40 yards and it'll smash in a... You think, my God, that's a player. You know, and he'll hit one at 110 miles an hour. And then he'll get into a position where he should be squaring it, and he shoots and he hits the side of it. And it's one of them. You know, I think that is the difference between top players and really good players, is the fact that when they get into a position, the top players always make the right choice. But I will say this, he's only 24 years old.
Yeah, so I've seen people say he's selfish. Is he too selfish? Would you say that he's too selfish?
It's a bit selfish. But again, you know, was it because he had a pile of shite around him? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, We can all be, you know that one when you're playing in school football and you've got the worst players and you try and do everything by yourself. So, it could be a point of that. He can be selfish. He can choose the wrong decisions. But listen, you never know what might happen under Thomas Frank. You might be, you might get the player and more. So, yeah, I wish him all the luck.
Yeah, in terms of that first season at West Ham, do you feel like he's got levels even to go on that? Do you reckon that he's got such a high ceiling that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah. I think if you get the right players around him, I think he's got a higher ceiling than what we saw. But again, you don't want him slipping through the floorboards. That's the problem.
That's the thing, and I think that's good. That's the big question marks, I think, for a lot of Tottenham fans. The fact that he, not only how he kind of acted at West Ham, but the fact he got kind of so disinterested so quickly after only a year is a bit of a red flag, which I think we have to be wary of. And I think we've seen players, that's happened with other players before, and you don't want to be dealing with a player who thinks bigger things way ahead of themselves, I guess. And I think that's obviously going to be a fear if Kudus turns out to like that.
I think it was one of them ones where he was already talking about the next club before he got to the new one, So, I think playing Champions League football will help him in terms of his mentality. I think better players around him, but the way he performed last year, I can't say that really. But you'd
come
think
on, we do. Come on, we know we do.
You'd think a better quality of player around him would be, because our midfield is terrible. Let's be honest, it's awful. But a better quality of player around him, you might get more out of him. But I think it all depends. This is my personal opinion, and take it as a pinch of salt because obviously I don't know. But I think you'll get a good Champions League campaign out of him. If that ends and you don't get back into it, prepare to have a war on your hands because you will hate him if he stops playing for you like he stopped playing for us. So, yeah.
More also, we want to know, is there going to be a protest ahead of this deal? There was something being shared on social media about West Ham fans protesting the border because of this deal. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think it's because of this deal. It's just the way the club's being run. I don't think anyone, really, as I said, they're not really angry with Mohamed Kudus because, as I say, he's got to go and play his football somewhere. And at the moment, the only people putting up cash offer is Tottenham. And I think that, as I said, there's a lot of people. I don't think. I think it's more about the state of the football club and the way, you're coming off of a European trophy a couple of years ago to having some real good trips around Europe in the last 3-4 years, to the point where now we can't sign fucking Aaron Cresswell back, and I think people are worried about like what the fuck is going on, So yeah, it's not because of this transfer. I know you'd all like to think it's because of this transfer, but it really
that's
isn't.
what the protest said. It said because of the transfer. That's the thing.
I don't know what it's all.
For me, it was just about how easy this deal was actually to get done. Like Sullivan and Sullivan just made it so easy for us to pinch him off your hands. Like 55 million, we were hearing Tottenham tax. We were hearing Jacob Steinberg saying that they're not going to sell him to Tottenham or they're going to make it really hard for Tottenham to sign him. But in the end, we got him cheaper than what the quoted price was.
I think they was just scared that you don't get this deal done. They was all relying on Chelsea. Which, I wouldn't want him to go to Chelsea as much as I wouldn't want him to go to Tottenham. But they was relying on Chelsea to come in for start a bidding war. And, they're trying to sell Madueke. If they're going to fucking start, why spend that sort of money when you're trying to, out a winger? I don't really understand where they thought it was coming. But they honestly thought that they was going to get something from Chelsea. And Chelsea just sort of like at the car boot sale, they just looked at the goods and walked by it, So... Yeah. Yes, it is what it is. I think in the circumstances that I don't think we've done ourselves any favours. I don't think he's done himself any favours. I think he's made us look desperate. I think he's made us look stupid. I think he's made himself look incompetent again, and I think he's made the club look tin pot, which I know a lot of your fans would say we're already tin pot, but fucking. This is proper tin pot, you know what I mean?
But there's a direct quote from David Sullivan apparently saying I know West Ham fans are unhappy, but if we had 54.5 million, would they want us to spend it on Mohamed Kudus? What do you think of that quote? Is he kind of basically saying, Kudus, we've got a good deal, we've actually got more money than we should have gotten? And is that a right quote, you think? You agree with him?
I think that's disgusting, to be quite honest with you, because if Mohamed Kudus, with all of the the bright-eyed ideas that he had last season and encouragement he had last season, if somebody would have said to me last season, would you spend £55 million on Mohamed Kudus? I'd have said double it and we'd still pay it. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful. And I think, I think it's a deflection of the way he's run the football club. He's running this football club into the floor, and the reason that Mohamed Kudus, one of the reasons is that Mohamed Kudus didn't perform for us last season is because he can't see the future in the football club. He can't see any progress in the football club. He didn't like the manager that he brought in, and nobody liked the manager that he brought in. Yeah. So, turning around and saying, would you, last year he was worth double that, with all due respect, and it's only your failings that have, that have brought his value down. So turning around and saying things like, oh, I got the best deal for the club. Just get the fuck out of my football club, sell it and go, because you're not welcome here anymore, with all due respect. I think things like that, I think that goes up there with Karen Brady turning around and saying, when they saying Bunny McCarthy had a bigger pair of tits than me. And, and with all due respect, they was in the fucking room when he was signing the contract. So if he had a bigger pair of tits than you, why the fuck did you sign him? So was he wearing a fucking trench coat or something when he was signing the deal? It's just things like, I think they just embarrass themselves. So, classless, as per usual from our porn baron owner, classless as a butt plug. There we go. So.
Well, it comes around pretty quickly. West Ham Spurs at the London Stadium. Fourth game of the season in September. Do you feel like it could be a bit of a, we all remember the scenes of when Sol Campbell returned back to Tottenham with Arsenal, bit of a pantomime villain. Do you think it will be similar?
It'd be like that. It'd be a pantomime villain. I don't think anyone really, 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 really dislikes him the way you dislike Sol Campbell. I mean, that was a fucking deal and a half.
Rightly so.
And rightly so, yeah, absolutely.
Although I heard you call him Mohamed Judas yesterday on stream.
Yeah, I'm tonguing. No, at the end of the day, as I said before, I've had 24 hours to think about it, and I just think to myself, right, there's no one else here. He's not going to be out of the car. I said this on the stream last week. He couldn't come back. Once you start talking to Tottenham, you can't really come back. So yeah, I think that tongue-in-cheek Mohamed Judas, he doesn't really go with my blessing. I'd rather him have chosen fucking Al Hilal or whoever come in for him, but it is what it is. He wants to play in the Premier League. That's the only Premier League club that come in for him. So, yeah. So, good luck to him for a good beef.
Well, as long as he goes with your good luck blessing, that's all we can
I'm sure he's waiting for
that. I'm sure he's going. I'm not going to sign the contract just
until I had the blessing. He's writing now.
The right said Fred looking geezers too.
All right, they're ready for the announcement now. I think now we've got the blessing from Nikki.
Nikki, always a pleasure to have you on the show, mate. I'm sure we're going to catch up pretty soon, and definitely
catching up pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, very, very soon. But obviously September the 13th is coming around very quickly as well. But Nikki, everyone do go and subscribe to West Ham Fan TV. A lot of brilliant content going up there.
Definitely.
At this moment.
You're looking for some Kudus reaction. It's a good place to go find it.
But Nikki,
for that now, so yeah.
Thanks for
good luck,
coming
boys.
on, mate.
Good luck, and I hope it works out for you. I really do.
Cheers, Nikki.
Mate.
Thank you.
And that was Nikki Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV. Always good for an honest opinion.
Yeah, and look, I think, to be fair, I think he is right. I think from all the reaction I've seen, I haven't really picked up on that point, but most people are not really, people aren't happy with Kudus, but the majority of the ire and anger has definitely been directed at board level. That's definitely been the biggest frustration I've seen with most people. Obviously, people don't want him to go to Tottenham, but the fact that he is going, they blame it more on Sullivan than they would on the player, which obviously, Tottenham fans took a different approach with Sol Campbell. We definitely put all the blame on him. And I can't get away from the fact if a Tottenham player did the same, I couldn't get away if it went to Arsenal in that fashion. Like, I wouldn't be able to separate that from the ownership.
The thing is like, I know it's a different case because he didn't go to a rival and he went abroad, but the reason why we all say that Harry Kane wanted to leave and is because of the ownership. And I guess there is like similar facets here.
Yeah, but the big thing is he is going to a rival, isn't it? So
I know.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the similarities there. But I would have thought maybe there would be more anger directed towards Kudus, but it definitely does seem directed towards the owners. But yeah, look, Nikki with some great call, great opinions as always. Always good to get his thoughts on things.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have got some interesting news to bring you. I'm just going to bring up the carousel. Just give me 1 second. Let's go with that.
There is some big news.
Yeah.
Some big bombers.
So let's... Oh, there we go.
Oh, well, spoilers.
Some spoilers for you.
I'm sure there's nearly 2,000 people in the chat for a reason.
Yeah, so let's get into this Tottenham update. And first and foremost, let's start talking about our captain, Son Heung-min. Ali Gold, because you might be wondering, where's Sonny? Because we've seen pretty much everyone filter through the doors now.
Definitely wondering.
From Son Heung-min. And Ali Gold said Son will return to Hotspur Way for the beginning of his pre-season training at the end of the week. Son is understood to have pre-agreed family commitments that he had to attend to.
He's basically taking a break from Korea with a little Tottenham in between.
Yeah, the thing is, though, like he doesn't usually come back before the Korea trip. He usually just goes straight to Korea.
I'm trying to think.
Meets the players out there.
But when we went in Korea, he did come with the play. Oh no, but he went to Japan. So he went to Japan one, then came back. So he didn't come home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time looks like he's come. Well, I guess he wants to meet the manager, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's a bit different.
Time,
he has to. Can't just meet the manager for the first time in Korea. He's going to have to meet him beforehand. So, and also they're going to have big discussions with the future.
Yeah.
That can't just be left. So I think there's probably reasons for that. But I think we're all definitely waiting in the wings, not for any sort of announcements, but for Sonny's return. That's the number one thing we're waiting for at the moment.
Waiting in the wings for an announcement as well. And talking of announcements, let's talk about Mohamed Kudus. Just a few more bits and pieces coming out on that deal and that situation. Jacob Steinberg said that Kudus handed in a transfer request and was late for training twice this week in an attempt to force through the transfer to Tottenham Hotspur. And ex-West Ham employee says that West Ham was prepared to accept a lesser fee for Mohamed Kudus from any club that wasn't Spurs, but no other bids came in. Tottenham told Mohamed Kudus that he will be the main man if he joined.
Interesting.
Does that suggest that Sonny's leaving, though?
What if he's going to be the main man? Not necessarily, because I think we all know Son's going to have to take a step back this season anyway.
He's still the main man, though, even if he takes.
He's captain, but main man in terms of in the team, I think it makes sense. I think Son at 33, as much as I love him and as much as I do think could have a big role to play, main man in the team. I think at 33, we know he can't really do that job anymore.
Son's always going to be my main man.
He's the main man at the club, but in terms of how we play in the team. Is it going to be a case of we're going to be relying on Son anymore? No. And we need someone else to rely on now. And I think maybe that's what they're selling him. They're telling him Son's not getting any younger. He might be moving on soon. There's going to be a place for someone to be the star name in that front line, and we want that to be you. And maybe that's how they're selling it. Do we care that he's put in a transfer request and he's been forcing a move and that? Because sometimes, when players do that, a lot it can count against them in the court of public opinion. Right now he's doing it to West Ham. Does that mean one day he's going to do it to Tottenham? That kind of stuff. Is there any concern that he hasn't maybe dealt with the exit from West Ham in the most professional way?
Yeah, look, he's definitely angered their fan base, and I think in an ideal world you probably do it in a better way. But sometimes if you do it in that way, you don't get the transfer that you want, and you get priced out of a move and everything like that. So I think there's plenty of cases that you can see that players have forced out moves and gone on to have amazing careers at their next club. So I don't think it's something that anyone apart from West Ham fans are going to hold against him.
Yeah, I don't think Tottenham fans are going to hold against him. It's just, is it something to just keep note of? Is it something that if he does, as Nikki was saying, we spoke to West Ham Fan TV. If he was saying he's doing it to West Ham now. If in a year's time he has a stellar season and Madrid come for him, is he going to do that to Tottenham? Is he that kind of character who's just going to always look for another move, or is he the kind of guy who's, if he's playing well and happy, he'll be settled? We'll just have to wait and see.
Players like Sonny are few and far between that just stay loyal for so long. Like when you've got a player that has no affinity to the club and the club's not going in the direction which you expected it to go, and a massive club like that comes in, I think the majority will want to move, and everyone deals with that in their own kind of ways. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I just hope one day we're not sitting here when Kudus refusing to come to Tottenham training.
If Spurs are going in the right direction and we're fighting for the things that we want to be fighting for, I'm sure that won't be a case.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, for sure. But it's just important to know that's what he has done at West Ham.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the big breaking story of the day regarding Morgan Gibbs-White. We got a David Ornstein bomber on this, and he says that Tottenham Hotspur are turning attention to Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. Thomas Frank, long-term admirer of the 25-year-old, and Spurs will try and convince the international to join if a deal can be agreed. Mike McGrath jumped off the back of this, and he says that Morgan Gibbs-White is a Tottenham target. Forest are expected to demand a fee of well over £60 million for Gibbs-White. Talks between Tottenham and Forest are ongoing, and Daniel Taylor from The Athletic says that Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham seems likely at this stage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just reading that tweet. He says, with a slightly heavy heart, and I'm not looking forward to telling my son, does it look likely? And he said, as it stands, yes, it seems that way. Sorry, Forest fans. Hopefully some happier news to come. He's a brilliant player. I can see why Thomas Frank wants him. Yeah, I'm trying to think, I wonder if he's, does he report for Forest potentially?
Yeah, he's a Forest.
So he's the Forest
Athletic. From The Athletic.
So that is significant.
There's just been Sammy Mockbell's just chimed in as well, and he said that Tottenham have opened formal club-to-club talks with Nottingham Forest over a minimum £60 million move for Morgan Gibbs-White. Transfer accelerating quickly.
Wow. Things are moving with Tottenham. I mean, I love Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's gone on leaps and bounds at Forest over the last few years, ever since he's come into the team. I remember him back in the day when he made his debut. I think he made his debut, didn't he, against Tottenham? I don't remember that. He did, and it was a very famous game for Wolves where we were at Molineux, we were 3-0 up and we nearly gave it away. Foyth gave away 2 penalties. I remember he came on and completely changed the game. Ever since then, he's kind of like been on my radar, and obviously look, everyone knows him now. He's gone from strength to strength. Phenomenal player. England international now as well. I think Forest, he was phenomenal. Obviously, he got nominated for Player of the Season, didn't he, in the Premier League? He had a phenomenal year at Nottingham Forest. I think he's really turned into one of the best number 10s in the league. I think what really sets him apart, he's got great physical kind of traits. He can turn in tight areas. He's got a really great eye for a pass, but he's also got that knack of arriving late, kind of unseen in the penalty area, getting on the end of things, really good finishing ability to shoot from range. So I think he's got so many kind of strings to his bow. He's versatile, can kind of play in attacking midfield in a few different positions. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think we'd be lucky to have someone like him in the squad competing with the kind of number 10s that we do currently have here. And I mean, it's a very, very exciting potential deal. 60 million for number 10, though, is something you do have to question a bit. We have Maddison, we have Decky. Maybe Decky's out for longer than we think. And if he is out for maybe up until the new year, maybe this makes more sense. But if, Decky was speaking a few weeks ago about potentially trying to be back for September. So if that's true, maybe it's a case of what kind of state is Decky going to be in when he comes back. Maybe we're quite worried about him. Obviously, we've got Kudus now. He's come through the door, and you would think he could obviously take minutes in the number 10 position if need be. There was a lot of talk potentially of Tottenham looking for like a competition number 10 for Maddison, and I really thought maybe Kudus would fill that, but maybe they think Kudus is exclusively a winger, and so maybe they still want that number 10 position. It always comes down to it. I do question how we are going to fit him into the midfield options when we definitely do need a number 6. We need a defensive midfielder. That's apparently the priority. So if we're signing him, obviously we're getting Kudus. Something big has to give when it comes to the squad. But look, regardless of that, such an exciting deal, phenomenal player. And if we were to get this done and get him on a Tottenham shirt, getting him and Kudus together would be phenomenal business. And that's a big club business.
100%, I agree with that. And I agree with your number 10 assessment as well. But as well, Morgan Gibbs-White doesn't just play number 10. He can drop a bit deeper in the central midfield as well and can do a very good job there. A very good job. So I think it would be a phenomenal signing for us. And I think this is a major, if Spurs get this over the line, this is a major coup for Tottenham Hotspur. This is a player, like you mentioned, that was nominated for PFA Player of the Year last season. in an outstanding season for Nottingham Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo. As much like Mohamed Kudus, where we're all saying like he's a phenomenal talent, it's exactly what we need on the right-hand side. He didn't have a good season last year, and that's why we're able to get him right on a cheaper deal. Where Morgan Gibbs-White is kind of the opposite to that. He was one of the outstanding players in the Premier League.
He was, and he's been good for a few years now for Forest. He's been very consistently good. He seems to have a really good mentality about him. So I think
he raises the level of the squad massively.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah, and you just think of all the talent would have playing together with him, Bergvall, Maddison, Kulusevski, it all in midfield, linking together. All of a sudden, you're thinking, what unbelievable talent there is. That's all of a sudden, we're closing that gap between us and the top teams with this kind of signing.
I can think about it. Is Bentancur and Bissouma both leaving? And does that leave Archie Gray with a potential number 6 there or something? I don't know. Or maybe just Bissouma leaves and we go for Bentancur and Gray as the 6 and add Gibbs-White in as another midfield option.
Yeah, and or unless maybe is Decky going to be left out of the squad potentially, the Champions League squad if he's out for a long time. Obviously, this knee injury, the initial reports of how bad it can be, people were saying it could take up to 9 months. Now, is he a quick healer potentially?
They actually said longer than that.
Huh?
They actually said longer than that in the initial assessment.
So, we know that Decky can heal quickly from things. He seems like he thinks he could be back in September. Is that wishful thinking from him? Is he actually going to be out till the new year? And if that is the case, maybe Spurs thinking, look, Decky's going to be out till the new year. We don't know what state Decky's going to be in. We need that. And on top of that, Maddison, we know he can't. He misses a lot. However, even when he's fully fit, he doesn't play beyond 70 minutes in a lot of games, and he's going to basically miss at least a third of the minutes even when fit. So do we need competition there? I think there is a definite case there to say yes. But on the flip side, we just got Kudus. So I thought, okay, we need a place there. We got him who can play there. But maybe they're looking at Kudus, thinking we don't want him in the 10, we just want him on the right-hand side. That's going to be his position, right or left potentially. And we still need someone in the 10 who's going to take minutes off Maddison and Kulusevski. And maybe that's why they're going this direction. But again, how we make the numbers work, it's going to be a hell of a puzzle to fit it in. It's going to be very difficult to make these numbers work for Tottenham. Regardless of that, I don't really care. When someone like Morgan Gibbs-White gets linked to your club and, the potential of him being part of the team, it's definitely too exciting to ignore. You want to ignore all that kind of stuff. And I think it's something that all the Tottenham fans, if we get this deal done, people say this lightly, if we get this done, how exciting is this summer already all of a sudden? And you've got to give credit if this happens, to Lange working very quietly in the shadows, seeming to things are happening without everyone's knowledge. I don't think many links. I know we have been with him in the past, but recently I can't remember too many links to Gibbs-White I think last time we were seriously linked with him, weren't we? There was a few murmurings.
There was a link, but it wasn't nothing serious.
I think there was
nothing like ever, proper being thinking we were going to get him.
I think there was it was more than just a rumor. There were serious links. I think the Athletic were reporting that he's on he's a target.
Yeah.
But there was never any formal bids and stuff like that or formal talks. So it seems as though we are accelerating this bid. Maybe we sent an opportunity. I don't know if Forest. I don't know if they have issues with PSR, whatever they are in Europe, but obviously they just sold Elanga for 55 million. So you'd assume, on top of that, Gibbs-White would come as more of a premium. But if they're saying 60 million there and thereabouts.
They're saying over 60 million, yeah.
Over 60 million or at least 60 million, I guess is the thing. But obviously McGrath says well over 60 million. So Mockwell's saying at least 60 million. So what that is, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if you ask me right now, would I rather pay that amount of money on a number 6 or do I want another number 10? I'll probably say number 6 is more priority, but not going to say no to Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, Ben Jacobs has just tweeted and he says Spurs set to make an opening bid for Morgan Gibbs-White. Nottingham Forest preferred not to sell, but understanding of Gibbs-White's desire for a new challenge. Forest wanted 65 million plus when Man City inquired for him earlier in the window. And we all remember that towards the end of last season, it all looked like Morgan Gibbs-White was set to join Man City.
Yeah.
And then obviously they went in a different direction. They brought in Reinders, they brought in... who else did they bring? They brought in one other as well in the central midfield areas, which, which signalled that Morgan Gibbs-White was going to stay at Forest. But maybe at that point in time, he did get his head turned, and he's looking for a new challenge. And if he is looking for a new challenge, then Forest might be backed into a corner here.
Yeah, I also feel like with him, obviously he's had a few great years at Forest, but last year, I think if you're Gibbs-White, you had the season that Forest had, and then the way it fell apart at the end of the season, and now you sold Elanga on top of that. Like, he's probably thinking, I've probably hit the ceiling here. What more am I going to do? We tried our best to get into the right Champions League. We just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We fell apart where it really mattered. Are we really going to have another season like that? Yeah. Let's be honest. He knows that Forest has no chance. They're going to be like, what were they, third in like March or something? Like, he knows it's never going to happen again. They're never going to have a better chance of getting top 4. So it makes complete sense for him that he's like, okay, I think it's time for me to try my hand at one of the big 6.
All right, Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted on the situation as well. This is a moving situation, people.
Yeah, wow.
He says, after Kudus deal done, Tottenham have made a formal approach to Nottingham Forest for Morgan Gibbs-White. Official club-to-club talks ongoing with opening bid expected soon, as The Athletic reported. Gibbs-White can be open to the move, up to the clubs now. Wow, this is really a developing situation with Morgan Gibbs-White potentially coming to Tottenham. And this is making me think, like, it's been so quiet with Tottenham, this whole transfer window. Suddenly, this has just bursted into life.
As soon as Frank's got back to pre-season.
Yeah, and you know what? These are the exact deals that we've all been calling on the club to do. Enough of these teenagers getting Premier League, not even just Premier League, just experienced players to kind of nurture and see through these young talents. And you've got Morgan Gibbs-White, 25 years of age, loads of Premier League experience. You've got Mohamed Kudus, who's got 2 years worth of Premier League experience, 24 years of age. These guys are coming at the real right age if we can get them in. And also, they were talking yesterday that Spurs doing club-to-club talk to Brentford for Johan Wissa as well, who's also of, a decent... He's a bit older. He's like, what, 28?
28, he'll be 29 soon.
28, 29. So you are talking about players. This is the way that we want to manage this transfer window. And where the hell is this money coming from? Is this the cash injection that everyone's been talking about from ENIC?
Maybe. Have we invested serious money, or is this what we're seeing at the moment? I mean, it's hard to say yes, because when it comes to Levy and ENIC, it's hard to get your hopes up with that kind of stuff. But are we seeing proof in the pudding? Are we seeing proof? Well, we haven't signed him yet, but if we do, then maybe something. Either something's clicked. Is this something? I don't know. It's so exciting. And if we can get this done, all of a sudden, where do you reckon he ranks as number 10s in the Premier League?
In terms of quality or seasons they had last season?
In terms of quality?
I think he's up there. I think he's in like the top 5.
Top 5.
For sure. And,
we were talking about, the other clubs making big moves. And we kind of, we have to make... basically, we have to start making our own big moves. Well, this is what it looks like.
This is exactly what it looks like. And I'm delighted. I'm actually just, usually I'm just going at 100 million miles an hour, and I'm just in pure shock right now. Because after Kudus yesterday, I thought, all right, fine, it'll be a bit quiet on the Western Front until maybe a few preseason games come along, and then maybe we'll get 1 or 2 more. But now this Gibbs-White has kind of knocked us for 6. We don't know what's going on here. Gibbs-White, potentially a Johan Wissa as well. Wow. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But
imagine we can get him in. And finally, we can maybe have a player in the England squad again, because we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I just think the levels when it comes to being back in the Champions League, bringing this level of quality, is exactly what we've been calling for, exactly what we need, and it's exactly what's going to excite the fans, I think. I mean, what a deal this would be. Well, I'm blown away, to be honest, that this is genuinely ramping up.
And the same like crap sources as well. Like, everyone's talking about it. Ornstein, Romano, these are the 2 guys that you sit up and take notice, right?
It's amazing.
And they're the ones that are talking about it, and they're talking about it in a serious way. So keep your eyes peeled, people, because Spurs are making moves in the transfer window. And we always say, whenever we make the Champions League, it never makes a difference to our targets. Well, it seems like it's doing that this time.
Yeah.
If we get these through the door.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Cudis' debt would have been desperate to come, or Gibbs-White would have been wanting to come if we hadn't won that Europa League and been in the Champions League.
European champion pool, mate.
Exactly, the Europa League champion pool. Come on.
Let's move on from Gibbs-White and let's talk about Cuti Romero now, as a journalist called MM Tavalera says that Atletico Madrid have now ruled out signing Cuti Romero. He will not be a player for Atletico Madrid. Tottenham is seeking to renew the Argentine centre-back contract. Atletico Madrid is also already working on other targets. Fabrizio Romano says that there is currently absolutely nothing between Tottenham and Atletico Madrid. AS, though, are reporting that Atletico Madrid received a resounding rejection from Tottenham after making a formal approach for Romero. Atletico were willing to reach 55 million euros for the centre-back, but Spurs informed them not to bother sending the proposal through. Spurs made it clear they will not enter talks to sell the player. However, they are also reporting that Romero has currently now rejected a new contract offer from Tottenham Hotspur beyond 2027.
Yeah, so it's hard. I mean, all those things can be true. I don't think anything's contradicting, but it'll be interesting to see if Romero's stance on that doesn't change. And even after talking with Frank, he's still adamant that's what he wants to do. Will Tottenham change their approach about being willing to sell? I think right now, it's the right thing to do to say he's not for sale. I think while he hasn't had that conversation with Frank, he's just come back from pre-season. You got to see where his head's at and all that different stuff, and we know how good he is. And look, for me, I've always been consistent. I want to keep him. I don't think we're going to get any better than him. I think he's phenomenal, and he just needs channeling in the right way, and I think he needs playing in the right kind of in a much better system, maybe defensive system, or he needs to stay fit as well. On top of that, he needs better partners next to him consistently, and you will see a much different and better Romero. And I think Cuti we know how phenomenally good he is, but he with that contract situation, if he doesn't sign it, it does leave Tottenham in a bit of a pickle financially. For me, I'm not too bothered about it, but we know from Daniel Levy and the club, they're not going to want to lose him cheap. They're not going to want to lose him for free, especially. So if there's a chance to get a good price for him, they're going to want to take it. Are Atletico playing hardball right now, hoping Tottenham lower their price down the line? I think there's a good chance that's true. Will Tottenham be willing for him to go back down into his last year with no kind of chance of him signing a contract? I find it hard to believe, but potentially. I mean, I guess they've done it before, so maybe they will. So I don't think we've had the last of this. I know that's what all this is growing from. I'm sure they are frustrated because I'm sure they want Tottenham to just agree the deal early and get this deal done. But, it's not going to be that simple with Tottenham, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've heard Romero speak quite publicly against the board in the past before, right? But then we've never seen, if all these kind of rumours and talks come to fruition and we do bring in like a Wissa, we do bring in like a Gibbs-White, we've got Kudus through the door. Is that enough to suggest to Romero that Spurs are serious now and we are potentially going in the right direction?
I mean, yeah, I would say. I think what it would definitely signal to him is we're definitely upping our ambition. We're definitely looking to sign players in the fashion that some of the other teams that we're competing with sign players, which we have been guilty of not doing before. Is it going to be enough for him this summer to say, okay, you know what? Look who we're signing. Look what we're doing. I'm going to sign a contract. I don't know about that, but will it change his mindset from this club, look what they do in the business, we're just signing teenagers, everyone's signing big players, right? And we're not going anywhere while we do this. Is that going to change that mindset to, okay, we actually are signing some really good players, we have just won the Europa League, I'm really happy here, I'm going to see how the season goes and then maybe I'll sign a contract during the season. Then if that's his mentality, then I think there's a very good chance we may. Look, for me, I'm happy to roll the dice and see if we can get him to sign that contract. But again, it's still a bit of a risk because maybe he still decides not to do it, and still even maybe regardless, maybe he just thinks, look, I want to try a new challenge, I want to go to Atletico, all that different stuff. So it's still a risk, but I think if there's a hope that he could sign a contract some way through the season, I think maybe there's a chance he might stay.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, that is the Romero situation. And now we're going to talk about Yves Bissouma as a Turkish journalist called Yagis Sabançoglu says that Yves Bissouma is a top target for Jose Mourinho for Fenerbahce. Spurs want around £20 million to sell him. And I know what you usually say about Turkish publications and stuff, but if you're ever going to listen to any sort of Turkish journalist, it's probably going to be this guy.
True. And also, players at the moment do seem to be going there. You know, you got Duran, who's just from Fenerbahce. You got Asensio, who's apparently linked to going there at the moment.
Galatasaray can have Sane and Osimhen up front.
Galatasaray getting some big players. So maybe he's looking at thinking, actually, are the Turkish teams up in their game? They're getting some good players. To be fair, they've always been able to attract good players.
Yeah, but this is Turkish teams.
It's a different level, but there's always been good players that seem to want to go to Turkey. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a good lifestyle or something out there. Is Bissouma going to be one of them? Obviously, we've heard rumours of Juve. We'll have to see if that interest comes to fruition. I think Tottenham are going to be willing to sell to anyone, whoever wants to come in. I think they'll just sell to the highest bidder. I think what about him under Jose? To be fair, Jose really likes African players. He's been on record saying he loves signing African players because I can't remember exactly the reason, but he said he's got a strong affinity to them. So will he look at Bissouma and think, yeah, that's the kind of player I want, maybe?
Yeah, I think Jose would think he could mould Bissouma. I think he'll be one of the leading midfielders in the Turkish league. So I think Jose would love to have Bissouma through the door. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. And last but not least, the last story is regarding Richarlison, as RTI, who is a Brazilian publication, say that Palmeiras have entered talks with Richarlison about signing the Tottenham forward. Palmeiras want to make a major attacking signing for the remainder of their season, which could be interesting. Do you think he would go back to Brazil at this stage of his career?
I
You're looking at
highly
the state
doubt
of
it,
these
though.
Brazilian teams, though. They look brilliant.
Well, they look good at the Club World Cup, but if you want to get as more noticed on the international stage when it comes to, I mean, playing for Brazilian teams can do it, but they always tend to pick players that play in Europe.
There are plenty of players in the Brazilian squad from Brazilian teams as well.
There are, but I think
and Richarlison as well is a player that's been in and around.
I
the
don't
squad.
think you move to Brazil if you want to get noticed in the Brazil squad. If you're in Europe and you want to have the best chance possible making a World Cup, you don't go to Brazil.
But what I'm saying is that if Richarlison is in there thinking already, you know, he's a player that's been called up in their last squad. If he goes to Palmeiras and he's playing every week and he's smashing it there, he'll get called up.
Not necessarily.
I think he will.
Depends. You know, you've got Cunha playing for Man United now. You've got so many good. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, if I'm Richarlison, your best bet is remaining in Europe. That's your best bet. If you want to make sure if you do well in Europe, they can't really ignore you. And I think that's your best bet of getting in that squad. And I think that's going to be his mentality. I think this kind of move would be a kind of last chance saloon. I doubt he wants to go back to Brazil right now. I think he wants to keep playing in the Premier League. That's where I think his head's at. I think he still thinks he's got so much unfinished business after the seasons he's had with the injuries. I think he knows. I think we all know he's got a lot more to give. If he can stay fit and if we can get him on the pitch, he will start scoring goals again. And I think he can score goals consistently in the Premier League. I don't think he'll be at Tottenham, but I do think somewhere in the Premier League or in Europe he can do it. So I think that's his mentality. I don't think he's going to want to just go back to Brazil just yet. So I don't see this happening.
Maybe someone in the comments saying maybe a swap deal for Richard Rios. You in that?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind it.
But look, that is it in terms of the transfer update. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Very exciting stuff happening behind the scenes at Tottenham. It seems as though Kudus, we could get an announcement today. We did hear the medical is today. That we heard news about club-to-club talks last night about Johan Wissa, and the breaking news today is club-to-club talks happening between Nottingham Forest and Tottenham for Morgan Gibbs-White. So very interesting situation.
Unbelievable.
And, you know, Edu just got announced as their new sporting director last week. His first port of call could be selling Gibbs-White to Spurs.
He's going to have over £110 million to spend with Elanga and Gibbs-White. So again, look, it's classic. It's classic Premier League teams. Though one team will have like a great season like that and overperform, and then they just get raided, and that is why it's so hard to stay there in that middle road pack.
It's mad as well when you think about it. Like all these teams have been performing so well, right? Nottingham Forest last year, Bournemouth for the last couple of years, Brentford for however long, and all of them are just getting stripped.
Brighton as well.
Brighton as well.
Yeah, I mean, they always get stripped better, but João Pedro's just gone. Yes, that's the thing. It's good and bad for them in a way, because obviously they get stripped all their talent, but they also get an influx of massive money, and then they're very smart with their investments, and they're very smart with their recruitment.
Yeah.
So they would probably, on the flip side, yes, they're gutted to lose a player, but on the other side, you know, they'll probably back them to replace the player they just sold for half the money. That's probably how they look at it.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see how all these stories develop. And is there going to be any new names that are going to be thrown into the hat very soon? I'm pretty sure there will be. You know, I was thinking to myself yesterday after the Kudus move, I was thinking, you know, if we get a central midfielder and a left back from now until the end of the window, I think that would be quite a decent window, just filling in the holes that we have in the squad. But looks like they could be going for more than that. Gibbs-White, we need cover at left back. We need cover at fullback, whether it be right back or left back, where Spence can play the other side. But
I just don't know where we have the space. It's crazy.
That's the thing.
If we're not going to sign Carl Walker-Peters on top of this, I just don't know.
Carl Walker-Peters looks like could be over to Besiktas.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty crazy situation we're in at the moment when it comes to the squad spaces and all that. So I do wonder where it all leads. I do wonder how it ends, because I don't really see any options which doesn't disappoint someone at some point, or maybe surprises a few people.
This is you know, it's not a fairy tale world, this game. You know, some hard decisions are going to have to be made, and we can't just live on sentimentality our whole lives, and it is what's just going to happen. Some hard decisions are going to have to be made this season.
Is that someone's posted a leaked video of Kudus at the training ground?
Oh yeah, let's get this up.
I don't know if you can really make out. I've liked it. I just liked it. Don't know who. This is a Ghanaian sports journalist.
So is this coming very soon?
Make it full. Yeah, go on. Make it full screen. So apparently, this is Mohamed Kudus spotted at Tottenham training ground. Is there an announcement incoming?
I talk about moving situations. Something new is popping up every minute here at Tottenham Hotspur.
We're going to get
Mohamed Kudus
video. Well,
at Hotspur Way, people.
When was this taken? Was this taken just now? Was it taken a few hours ago? They already shot the videos. This is clearly an announcement video that I think they're shooting, or some sort of video, because you can see the cameraman there who's moving backwards. So they're shooting something. I don't know whether it's, you know, an interview or what it is. But is this video something we're about to see? Are we about to get the announcement?
I am gassed, people.
Do you have notifications on? Get your notifications on, people. This is nonsense, someone said. Well,
it's not nonsense.
This is supposed to be Kudus at the training ground.
Maybe we'll go and have a look and react to the new video on the Spurs YouTube of the players returning back for pre-season testing.
We can, but it's just them in the gym.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. One video we could do is that there was a nice video Spurs uploaded. They did a little social media post of a short of each player when they walked in said, "Who did you miss most over the summer?"
Oh, I saw Arsenal bloke did that as well. Oh, well, let's watch it.
See if I can find it. It's not on Twitter.
Yeah, it's on the Tottenham Shorts.
See if I can find it. Yeah, this one.
My Dutch boy.
How many of them are going to say Sonny?
Can I rewind, or do I have to?
You got to connect to.
Yeah, 1 sec.
But look at that. We got over 2,000 people in here with us.
People are here for the Bombers.
Smash that like button. If you're new around here as well, smash that subscribe button as well.
And maybe we should show over on our T-shirts while we're here on the website.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you get the website up? You know, people have been buying T-shirts left, right, and centre on our website over the summer after winning Europa League in last season. We've got lots and lots of new T-shirts in the store.
And more coming.
More coming as well. The Van der Ven T-shirt has been flying off the shelves.
So the Thomas Frank one.
The Thomas Frank, that one's been popular. The Son one as well, European champion.
If you go onto the T's section, it comes up in better order.
There you go.
There is also a discount code as well, WATTV15, where you buy one, you get one for 15% off.
So if you go to WeAreTottenhamTV, WeAreTottenhamTV.shop or shop.WeAreTottenhamTV. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Go and grab yourself a T-shirt if any of them interest you.
Yeah, so it's WATTV15 for the discount code. Buy one, get one, 15% off.
Get us a discount code there. Go and get some T-shirts, people. Big up. And it does help support the channel. We do really appreciate all the support. Everyone buys T-shirts. And look, it's a cool thing. It's a good present to buy for someone if you're looking for something. And it's a cool T-shirts to wear as well. There's the Son one holding that Europa League trophy. The nice one, Son, which you might see us wearing a lot in the studio. So a lot of different T-shirts you can go and buy.
That one there is one of my favourite ones, this one.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Winning in Europe ain't for everyone, people. I love it.
Matt Law has tweeted, serious moves by Tottenham to get Kudus and go for Gibbs-White suggests investment from ENIC or outside has happened or is happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It does seem that way.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if there's any confirmation about that. And the Alley Gold, here we go. Spurs are in talks with Forest and trying to get Gibbs-White. That would certainly kick things up a notch. Alley Gold. So that's basically the mouthpiece of the club.
What is going on at Tottenham Hotspur?
Is this Tottenham Hotspur? Right, is this Tottenham we're supporting? We're making moves, people.
Unbelievable.
We are making serious moves.
It is crazy. What's going on right
I always believe that old saying: if something's too good to be true, it probably is. Like, are we gonna have to get? Well, who are we sacrificing in this squad? Is something gonna give? Are we gonna have a really big unexpected sale? Is something like going on here in the background, or are we actually just going for it? Are we fucking Billy Bib bollocks here? Are we actually putting the money on the table?
Tottenham are acting how they should have always been acting.
Is that what's happening? Are we doing it? Is this it? Is this the summer? We actually do it. Is this the summer the stadium comes to fruition? We're getting investment. We're actually kicking on. Is that trophy all that was needed? Is this it now? Or is this the reality we're living in?
This is it.
Are we a big club? We acting like a big club?
It seems that way.
Let's read some super chats. Got some super chats here. Blah, 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 blah. So you got Brian Dagel, Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. Is that the song? Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't know. Is that the song, Brian? I don't know if I got the tune right. Apologies. He just said he's Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, he's Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. Is that it?
Don't know, mate.
What do we think? You know Brian better. You know Brian better
than anyone. I know Brian better than anyone.
you would know what tune he's meaning.
Maybe he can call me and he can sing it himself.
Any ideas, Brian? Have I got any of the tunes right?
Actually, let's get Brian on because Morgan Gibbs-White is one of his favourite players. I want to know. I want to get his reaction on this.
We'll get Brian on. We'll get a link going. Another super chat from Rich Frith. Morgan Gibbs-White and Kudus in 1 week. Has Levy left the club?
I bloody hope so. Oh, he sent me a voice note.
Hello. It's Morgan Gibbs.
Oh, I love that.
Morgan Gibbs-White.
Hello, hello, it's Morgan Gibbs-White, it's Morgan Gibbs-White, hello, hello.
I like that. That's gonna get
It's
cracking.
Morgan Gibbs-White, it's Morgan Gibbs-White.
Did he
And
just come up with that?
actually-
He did just come up with that. That's a banger.
And actually,
That is a banger.
I've been sent through a Mohammed Kudus song as well, which I'm sure you guys will absolutely love. Listen to this one.
Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus is it Tottenham Kudus. He left West Ham because they're shit.
Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus makes the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham cause they're shit. Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus makes the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham cause they're shit. Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus, hear the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham cause they're shit. That is a banger.
I like that as well.
That is an absolute banger.
I like that. All the songs are coming out. All right, we're going to have some new songs at the Tottenham Stadium as well. Fantastic. It's all happening today.
Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus, hear the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham cause they're shit. What a song.
All right. Crazy Rat has to chime in as well. Big up. He said, kudos to Sim for getting Kudus still over the line.
Well done.
Big up. Thank you.
Everyone a
Thank
round
you.
of applause for
Thank
Sim.
you. Thank you,
Everyone
Crazy.
a round of
At
applause.
least someone acknowledges. Thank you, Crazy. No one give me any credit around it.
Mohammed Kudus, running down the wing. Kudus makes the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham cause they're shit. Love it.
Brilliant.
All right. All right, shall we react to this video then?
Yeah, where is it? Here it is. So let me just restart it. Not this one. That's Kota. But I don't know. How do I? Because you can't. I can rewind it.
Just a quick super chat just before you do from Marcus saying, I was hoping for more of a marquee signing like Javi Simons, but Morgan Gibbs-White works for me. Just want to be competitive in the market this window. Now get Edison.
Now get Edison.
Edison wouldn't be bad, would it?
It would be alright. I wouldn't
Let's
mind
get
that.
Morgan Gibbs-White first, and then we can just talk.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal signing, really is. And I know we would love Eze and Simons, but you know what? Bloody Morgan Gibbs-White. Bloody Morgan Gibbs-White. I'll take the hell out of him. I'll take him in a heartbeat.
We've had four. Well, we've just had four signings on the shop from Ghana.
From Ghana, we need to get a Kudus shirt.
Come on, the
out there.
Ghanas.
We need to get a
Ghanaians
Kudus
are
shirt.
strong.
We're going to get a Ghana influx.
Yeah,
Can't wait. All right. Should we do it?
yeah.
Come on, Em.
My Dutch boy, Mickey van der Ven. But
Oh,
he
I
will be
can't hear
back.
it.
You did say you wouldn't leave him alone over the summer.
I had to. My Dutch boy, Mickey van der Ven. But he will be back.
You did say you wouldn't leave him alone over the summer.
I had to. I had to. I had to. No. He said it. He
Is
said,
it true?
yeah.
Shut up.
Johnson again.
Sonny.
And Mrs.
Johnson,
Sonny.
he said.
Johnson.
He said Sonny.
Missed it.
Always knows,
Professor.
isn't it?
Yeah, Destiny, because
Yeah, I
we
was
went on
with
holiday
it.
together.
Yeah.
Go with Brent's energy. He scored the winner as well, and so we're singing his name like 500 times before we left.
Yeah.
What do we think of these? They're
I love them.
giving me like Lady Gaga vibes.
Lady Gaga.
Who did you miss the most?
I think Papesa.
How are you? Like, who did you miss the most over summer? Richie, yeah, Richie said you as well.
Icardi.
Sick.
Yeah.
You. He didn't say you, sorry to say.
No one says Sonny apart from Yang.
Because
Matters.
it's the lad's holiday.
Yeah, no, keep Dominic.
Dom, big
No,
Dom.
but then again, no, I see them actually.
everyone and the food. I miss everyone.
Probably Richie. Just makes me laugh.
Hello, morning. The teammate. Maybe this guy, Mothers.
My Dutch boy, Mickey van der Ven.
Love it. Love it.
A lot of romances going on in the squad. Everyone's
there's just
so
such
together.
great energy within the Spurs squad. There really is.
And we're adding Gibbs-White and Kudus to it. Come on, people.
And maybe even a Wissa as well.
Maybe even a Wissa.
And maybe some more names.
God, are we going to have the summer of our lives?
Jay Percy has just tweeted saying Tottenham are ready to trigger a 60 million release clause to sign Forest and England midfielder Gibbs-White.
A release clause?
What is going on? A release clause?
We don't trigger release clauses. That's not what we do.
But this is the first we're hearing of a release clause.
Yeah, well, everyone is saying well over 60 million.
Excuse me.
So why is all of a
What
sudden
is
there's a
going
release
on
clause?
here, people?
All of a sudden there's a release clause. First of all, there is release clause, and second of all, we're triggering a release clause. What is going on? What is going on here? We don't trigger release clauses. We pay in installments, and that's that.
Are you okay, Tottenham? Are
Is
you
everything
okay?
all right? Is Levy being kidnapped?
What is going on? We've just paid 55 million for Kudus, and now we're triggering a 60 million pound release clause for Morgan Gibbs-White.
Matt Laws just tweeted plot twist release clause.
Oh my days! Oh
Hello.
my days!
Hello.
What is going? Hello, it's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello, hello, it's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, come on!
Unbelievable.
This is mad. Spurs are moving mad in this transfer window. I was ready to throw it all out the window a couple of days ago. I was like, they're not doing nothing this window. Why is it so quiet? We're just going to bring in some 19 and 18-year-olds.
We're ready to trigger a
Kudus
release
one day.
clause. Is that the first time we've ever triggered a release clause before we do this? I can't remember.
Significant one.
I don't remember ever triggering a release clause in my ever small Tottenham.
Got a Kudus on Thursday, Morgan Gibbs-White on Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday we got Wissa on a Monday.
Why would we want to trigger his release clause and not Eze's though?
Don't know.
But I guess Eze's is a bit more maybe, but still, unless this release clause can also be paid in installments maybe.
So Spurs are ready to trigger a 60 million pound release
We're
clause.
ready to trigger it. If that's it, they can't do nothing if we trigger it.
Well, the Eze release clause, to trigger it, you had to pay 60 up front. I don't know what this
so I wonder what this is. I can't believe this.
I'm just waiting for something to pull me back down to earth and being like, yeah, there's a snag in the deal or something. But what is going on?
Surely this isn't Lang, like
I
Batman
want
over
Brian
here.
Dagel on right now. Where is Brian?
Where's Brian?
I haven't sent him the link.
Well, that's probably why he hasn't come on. Lang working in the shadows. He's like Batman in the corners.
Jesus.
Watching everything.
Christ.
Is Lang low-key underrated?
If Lange pulls all this through, he's fucking goated. Never mind underrated.
Who needs Don Fabio?
Oh, mate.
Who needs Don Fabio? We got Johan. This is madness.
Man, what is going on?
Morgan Gibbs-White for 60 million.
Who wants to see Brian Dagel?
Is he coming?
Don't say no, because you're going to see him anyway.
Should we put a poll out? Brian or Morgan Gibbs-White?
I don't even know if he's available to come on.
Come on, Brian.
It's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello. Hello.
Oasis 2025 like it. Oh, wow. Wow.
How is this even real? Like, Spurs ready to trigger a 60 million pound
This
release
just
clause for
doesn't
Morgan
sound like
Gibbs-White.
you. Sounds like you're just talking about someone else. Just doesn't sound like you're talking about Tottenham. Just sounds like another club. It's madness. Spurs this summer is truly underway. What unbelievable signings in this front line. Even got Tell we signed at the beginning of the window as well. You know, he's going to be sort of having a very good season. All of a sudden, you're looking at the signings we're making. Woof. Serious firepower.
Another how Frank could line up.
We're
Gonna have to.
Once we get all these signing, Brian says send him another link. It's asking for what's the passcode again?
996.
Oh, don't worry, I'll just get it from
996617.
9966. Okay.
Did a poll on X.
What poll did you do?
Asking people what people thought of the Morgan Gibbs-White deal. Is it a good deal or is it not needed? 85% say it's a good deal. 15% say it's not needed.
It's a brilliant deal.
It's a fantastic deal, in my opinion. These are the deals we got to do. Tottenham TV. Gold K says Agadoo style at Mohamed Kudus song. How does it go? Oh, right, he's given the links. Moku, dus, push defenders, run the wings. Moku, dus, push defenders, run the wings. To the left, to the
I like
right.
the other one better.
Push defenders, run the wings.
This one's an Ericsson song.
Not quite.
Mohamed Kudus, riding down the wing. Kudus makes the Tottenham sing. Kudus, he left West Ham because they're shit. And let's go to hello. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello. Brian Dagel.
Did you come up with that, Brian, or was that the Forest thing sing that?
No, it's what Nottingham Forest sing for him.
Oh, I see.
It's what Forest sing for him, and the song you're singing for Kudus is what West Ham sang, but Spurs song sheets have edited it.
So we're not as original as we think.
Well,
Damn,
mate,
I thought that's a banger, that Morgan Gibbs-White song, though.
Mate, it is, and hopefully we get to be singing it next season, or this season, should we say. Honestly...
Brian, what the fuck is going on with this football club, man? What the hell? Kudus yesterday, 55 million. We're about to trigger a 60 million pound release clause for Morgan Gibbs-White. What is going on?
Well, you got to look at this from Vinay coming in and Charrington coming in. Frank said he wanted assurances, didn't he? Whether Levy has said, right, this is the time we go for it, whether Charrington has, this is what we've wanted to be happening, isn't it? This is the 100%. Kind of player or the caliber and quality of player we've all wanted to come in. Yeah. We've all wanted to come in, players of this magnitude that can improve the first team squad immediately. And Morgan Gibbs-White certainly does that. Frank coming in, and then Morgan Gibbs-White coming in. Either Levy's listening to Tottenham on tour, We Are Tottenham TV, or Spurs are just moving in different ways right now. I will be absolutely delirious if Morgan Gibbs-White comes to Tottenham Hotspur.
Where does he fit in, Brian? In our starting 11, where does he play?
Do you know what? This is the thing. He can play the 8. He can play the 10. He can play left or right if needed. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think with the right coach, he has all the attributes to be a number 6 as well in emergency cases.
6?
I've said this to you, Ben, on conversations before. Really? I think he has all the attributes and he's needed coach. If he has a right coach, I don't think Frank will automatically have him as a 6. I think he personally has the attributes, as in the stamina, the engine, the physique, the power. He's not one to shy away from a tackle. He elevates this midfield big time. Big time. I keep saying to people, I remember when... Do you remember that Nottingham Forest game where Richarlison was doing the kick-ups in his first season? Mm-hmm. I came onto your show on the pre-match when you were doing fan shows on the pre-match every single time, and you guys said, who do you reckon the danger man is for Nottingham Forest? And I said Morgan Gibbs-White. I think this is an incredible player, and if he comes over the line, fair play every single person at Tottenham Hotspur, and I will include Daniel Levy in that.
Hey.
Well, mate, I've included him in getting Kudus over the line. Although I think Vinay has had a lot to do with it from what we're hearing reports. But he stuck to his guns like he normally does in negotiations. And if a Gibbs-White comes in and a Kudus who already's there, mate, this is already a summer like no other under his leadership.
Brian, I asked you last night after the Kudus signing, where do you think Spurs are going to finish next season? You said 8th or top 8. If a Gibbs-White comes in, does that change your opinion?
Oh, big time. Big time. Kudus, it's not just the Morgan Gibbs-White, it's a Kudus and a Morgan Gibbs-White. Then we're talking top 6 immediately for me, without a doubt. And then we just have to see what the rest of this summer does. But Morgan Gibbs-White as a Tottenham Hotspur player will be phenomenal. And you've got to remember as well, what we've wanted is calibre of players that when a player is out or rested, rotated, suspended, there's a player of that calibre that comes in to replace him. A Kudus and a Morgan Gibbs-White are immediate first-team players. Immediate. And they raise the standards immediately for me. Immediately.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's the only question, obviously, is how we make the numbers work when it comes to having all these players. Obviously, we have Maddison, we've got Kulusevski, and we've got even Kudus who can all play in the 10. So adding another 10, I mean, to some fans, doesn't seem like a massive priority right now. But how do you feel about that? Do you feel like even though we have those players, that is still we need a player in that position?
Yeah, I think we need to start looking and talking about outgoings now. I didn't know until you guys said it that there was actually a release clause in his contract, because I was thinking to begin with maybe the way Spurs bridged the money Forest would have wanted would have been maybe sending Sullivan out there as part, because they've just lost Alanga, they need another winger. Maybe that could have been like a make weight. But if there's a release fee, Spurs need to start getting rid of some players. Without a doubt, like you said, the squad, getting them named in Champions League is going to become an issue. But you can't, if Morgan Gibbs-White is available and he's reachable, what we've wanted and what I've wanted especially is Spurs bringing in these players before getting rid of players, bringing in the quality first and then dealing with the players out afterwards. And they're doing it the right way, in my opinion. We don't know what's going on with the outgoings. I'm sure we'll find out. But Spurs moving in these kind of in these kind of players is just a brilliant thing. And everyone that was doubting what Thomas Frank can do and saying, oh, what kind of pool can he bring? Oh, he hasn't worked with big players. Well, they seem to be wanting to come to this football club, don't they?
Absolutely. Matt Law said, tweeted out that the deals that we're currently doing is that hinting that there's been potential investment from ENIC or from outside sources. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, I was talking about this just now on another show. You've got to think that there's something going on financially, don't you? We just don't do this. And
there has to be some investment, Brian. Surely there has to be. Ali Gold has suggested it. I think Matt Law has suggested it over the past couple of weeks. There's got to be some sort of that going on.
There has to be. I mean, if we go back to the Conte and the £150 million war chest, we spend that on 7 players. If this gets done for 60, let's just say, like you said, I think you said 60 million, didn't you? Release clause. That's 115 million spent on 2 players.
Yeah.
This is what we've wanted to see. When you're making signings like this, a player like a Takai, who got a lot of stick because obviously it's a 5 million, these signings, you're like, okay, that makes sense. You got to think as well with players like a Gibbs-White and a Kudus. Let's just say Gibbs-White is here. People that were going nuts about the Matisse Tell deal. Matisse Tell, like Dele Alli when he came in, obviously he came in from League One. When he came through, he had 10 quality players around him to help him through, to see him through games. Obviously, Dele had this undeniable talent, but Matisse Tell looked like a lost sheep at times because of the way we're playing, the style, whatever. You start putting these kind of players around them, it helps these players come through. It gives these players quality players to help them develop. It's just a very exciting time. And Thomas Frank, he is him. I tell you what, Sim, if we get Gibbs-White, surely you join me and Ben and become fully Frankish.
Come on, I'm on the Frank train already, mate. Come on.
On the Frank train and fully Frankish are two different things here, my friend.
Yeah, there's coming on the Frank train.
What's the players got to do with the manager? Ange could have cooked with these players.
Oh, don't! Let's not go back there. Let's not go back.
You brought him up. You brought it up.
No, I said you've now got to be fully Frankish because
I'm Frankish, mate. Come on.
That's what I like to hear. And I will say for anyone that is thinking about getting those T-shirts, my birthday present from you guys arrived.
Where is it? Why are you not wearing it, Brian?
Because I didn't know I was coming on your show, and I'm saving it, like I told you, for the Super Cup game. And then we'll beat PSG, and then I'm going to have to do like I did with the grey T-shirt and wear it for the game to make sure
the stain must remain.
Exactly. Well, there's going to be no stain on it. I won't go for chicken wings. It will be looked after a lot better. But listen, we look at this in times gone by where after Solanke last season, it was just bit part players hoping they would come good and ones for the future and always building the team for tomorrow whilst our rivals build the team for today. If a Kudus comes in, if a Morgan Gibbs-White, or Kudus is in, if Morgan Gibbs-White comes in as a player at 24 and 25, still yet to hit their peak, and then these are the kind of players we need to be bringing in. Forget going for the £100 million players or whatever. It's just not going to happen. But players like this are exciting, bring new styles of play to Frank's tactics. They're incredible signings, and fair play to everyone, and I do mean everyone at the football club. This is what we've wanted to see players of this magnitude and calibre coming through the door.
Brian, well, just quickly, a super chat here says Levy's getting Gibbs-White, so he has a reason to sell Kulusevski, so he'll get fans stopping chanting that chant about him.
Hey, do you know, listen, who knows? But I tell you what, you've got to look at it, players coming out, who knows? You've got to think that if we're spending like this as well, it's either A, investment is coming in, or B, there are players going out that we don't know of and are further down the line and not being released at all. So it's one of the two. And if we're bringing in players like this, like the big clubs do, some big hitters may go.
Yeah.
Some big hitters may go. Is Kulusevski one of them? Is he?
Yeah, I mean he's injured at the moment, though.
He is injured, but good things. I'm not saying this is happening, but if Spurs, like we've seen with Coutinho, and obviously everyone uses Coutinho, Manchester United back in the day when they got rid of a Stam, a Beckham, a Van Nistelrooy, whatever, they did that because Ferguson was like, right, we need to change whatever. Spurs may need to start acting this way, and if they do, and they bring in a Gibbs-White and a Kudus, all right, fair play.
George Bannister just tweeted literally a minute ago, and he said, had heard last week that Edith had agreed additional funds to be made available alongside an external sponsorship deal into the hundreds of millions. Do wonder if these moves precede that news to come.
Very interesting.
Could well be. Listen, we did this with the Gareth Bale money, didn't we? We started spending it before it got announced he was leaving. Could it be? Could it be that they have literally kept it very, very quiet with investment from an external, or what you've just mentioned? Or could it be ENIC have pumped some money in? You just don't know. I am delighted with what the way we're moving right now. I have to say, honestly, it's different. And you look at it, Ben, you and I, like you said, were speaking yesterday, the Frank coaching network, or coaching team, let's say, are levels above what we've had before. And I put that with Conte as well. I put that with the Contes and Mourinho's as well. You heard in that interview that Lange and Frank had discussion of who they wanted. They've got them. And the coaching team, even the video that you reviewed yesterday, there's a designated role. Everyone knows what they're doing. It just looks like a completely different setup from the coaching staff and manager as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the one staff member I would bring on board from Conte's team is Gianni Vio. I thought he was fucking class, Gianni Vio.
He was, but we brought in a set-piece coach already, haven't we?
Yeah,
And you look at it as well. When you go back to Frank's team compared to Ange's team last year, we gave away 11 set-piece goals.
Yeah.
Brentford gave away 2.
Yeah.
I know the set-piece coach didn't work with him at United, but a lot of Frank's staff that obviously work day in, day out towards that set-pieces, they know how to defend them.
Yeah, it's true. We got another super chat here from Malware saying, all these top players coming in, seems like we're getting ready to go to war with PSG.
Come on.
We're going to need a heavy stack military the way that
bring them all on, Brian. Bring them all on.
Mate, you guys have got, mate, honestly. Listen, I was ecstatic for Frank. If I get Frank and Morgan Gibbs-White in the same window, my good God.
Brian, let me ask you this. I know you're massive fans of both these players, but if I gave you the choice right now to bring in a Morgan Gibbs-White or an Eberechi Eze, which one would you have picked?
Do you know, it's so tough for me. Honestly, I put those two, as we spoke for 3 years, I put those two right up there. But for obviously different attributes, I can't separate them. I honestly cannot separate them. Put it this way, if we get Gibbs-White in, I will be as happy as I would have been if we got Eze in.
Yeah.
I can't separate them. Obviously, they're two very different players with very different styles, but I just think Morgan Gibbs-White, for his all action, his energy. If you go look at his heat map from last season, he's all over the place, and I mean that in a good way, not all over the place. In his energy, his engine, his stat, mate. He will elevate this midfield, elevate it, and can play anywhere across it. I can't remember a time, and I've been coming on this show for 5 years, where I've been this excited. Honestly, I said you're going to see a different me on this. I will go nuts at Levy when need be. I'll give him credit when needs be. And if he brings in Gibbs-White, like he has Kudus, fair play to him.
When you look at Gibbs-White and Kudus deals, especially look at our attacking midfield options, who can play in the 10, and the midfield options we do have from an offensive point of view. Where do you rank them when it comes to like the options we would have if Gibbs-White was to come? You know, Maddison, Gibbs-White, Kulusevski, Kudus, Bergvall, like these kind of midfielders who can all play kind of offensively, centrally. Like, what an unbelievable crop of talent that is.
Honestly, you look at that and you're going into this season thinking, do you know what? I don't care what the midfield or the attacking options really are, do you? If you look at it, I think we've needed. Kudus certainly brings that level of excitement that we've all been wanting, with a player that gets on the ball and can just take on players for fun and be direct and aggressive. Morgan Gibbs-White, the discipline. And there's just option. It just really opens options. Again, it looks like we'll have to see who goes out, because there's no doubt if Gibbs-White comes in, midfielders will be leaving. Could it be Benson Core? This contract's been dragging. Bissouma looks the most likely, doesn't he? Could it be both? Who knows? But I would, if I had to say, you lose Benson Core and Bissouma for Morgan Gibbs-White, absolutely every day.
Do you think you could see a situation where Maddison and Gibbs-White are playing together in the midfield?
Yeah, I do.
100%.
I do.
100%.
I do.
Can you see a situation with Maddison, Bergvall and Gibbs-White all in the same
free. Oh, wow.
You look at it, you could have, it depends if Frank wants to go ultra aggressive and play Gibbs-White and Matt. You know, like how we're saying playing Maddison and Kulusevski together in a more attacking midfield, or you could do that with Gibbs-White. You could do that again if you want to go defensive. Have a bit of an 8 and a Maddison. If Maddison needs to have a rest or is injured, you promote Gibbs-White until Kulusevski's back if he's still here as the 10. It just gives quality options where you like whoever is starting in that midfield or attack on the wings right now. It doesn't matter.
It's a good point. Someone just brought up in the chat, CB864YT, saying Bergvall in the 6. What about Bergvall in the 6 with Gibbs-White in the 8 and Maddison in the 10?
Well, we saw Bergvall in the 6 a few times last season.
It was brilliant.
And I think this is where Justin Cochrane comes in as well. This is going to be his area, kind of working on that midfield and attacking as well, how he has done with youth before. My God, is it exciting times. My good God. I mean, you look at it from last week, where even me was like, oh, it's the 1st of July. Where is everyone first? Wait till July. Well, in the second week, Tottenham Hotspur have shut me right up.
Ali Gold has just tweeted, I've previously reported about the expectations in and around the club of new investment coming in, potentially from ENIC. These kind of moves appear to suggest that that's on the way.
It does seem that way. It really does. And Ben Jacobs has just tweeted in the last minute saying, Gibbs-White has a £60 million release clause, first called by the Telegraph, which is now active. Different story when Manchester City inquired. It will take a minimum of 60 million or 65 million plus if the clause is not triggered.
Well, why would you? Well, I guess if you wouldn't trigger it, so you get favourable payment terms.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what he's talking about. Yeah. Wow.
So would you? I guess the club would have to decide: do we pay a lump sum of 60, or do we pay instalments and maybe have to go to 65?
Yeah, I reckon they go the 65 route probably.
No, Levy.
Depends. It depends what the investment looks like.
Yeah. But if we get this quickly, my God, can you imagine Spurs actually get this wrapped up within 24, 48 hours? If that's not a sign of intent, and if that's not a sign of things changing for whatever reason, then I don't know what is.
Brian, if we do bring in, we've brought in Kudus now, right? We've brought in Takai. If we bring in a Morgan Gibbs-White, what signings are you looking for from now to the end of the window in terms of positions?
I think all we would need, in all honesty, is left back cover, so that can wait, and then depending on if Wissa comes in or not, someone to give Solanke competition or even exceed him. But I think Solanke starts under Frank regardless. So another striker, and that's obviously Richie's going, and a left back.
Arsenal haggling over 4 or 5 million for Gyökeres. Why don't we go and stretch our
them as well.
ENIC muscle?
Mate, as you know, last summer, last summer I was going nuts for Gyökeres. If we got Morgan Gibbs-White, Gyökeres and Frank, I've completed life.
Don't know about guys. I haven't seen Mbuemo confirmed yet. Come on.
This is the thing. It's Mbuemo or Wissa, isn't it? One of them's going to go, and it's who goes first. And I can't see with Kudus us now getting Mbuemo. I think that's dead in the water.
Yeah.
So Wissa would be the one. In my opinion, if Spurs were going to act. But if we, like you said, Ben, in answer to your question, if Morgan Gibbs-White comes over the line, then I'd say a left back and a second striker.
Talking of the number 6, right? Do we even need a number 6 with the way kind of Frank plays his midfielders? I know under Ange it was very important to get that kind of all-encompassing 6, but with the players that we have, is it vitally important that we get that player under Frank?
I think obviously double pivot, I think, is less needed to get a specific 6 as per se, but I definitely think we need a stronger player defensively in that position. We need a more defensive midfielder. Bentacle's the best at it. He's good, don't get me wrong. Is he good enough to do the role? I guess to be fair, I say do the role, but what is the role next season? It's going to be different. So I think Bentacle's going to be more suited to doing the role that he's asked for under Frank than he probably was under Ange. I definitely think that's true. But I do think when you're looking at the squad, can we rely on him? Like, can Gray step in? That's the big question mark. I think in an ideal world, you're looking at, you think you'd probably like to see a real, monster 6, or either that, or like someone who's more of a playmaker, or like really good passing range. If you're looking at players, the 4 players you play in the 4 in the double pivot roles, forgetting the 10s. Like, none of them really are like amazing passing ability. I feel a lot of them have very good qualities, but I don't think passing's like any of their like main strengths. So I think someone in the midfield who can do that, set the pace of a game, set the tone of a game. But also, we also need someone properly. I also, again, similar question. Look at the 4 midfield options. Are any of them really elite defensive midfielders as well? So someone who's good defensively, also good on the ball, but it's tough to find that kind of player.
I would say that, but I don't know if you guys can get it up. Go look at Morgan Gibbs-White's heat map from last season. And then when you look at it, with what the ground he covers and everything, and the engine and energy he has, I don't even know if a number 6 is that vital.
I can't see Gibbs-White playing 6.
Under an Ange, not saying him playing a 6. If you watch the ground that man covers, like we're saying, a number 6 under like Harry Redknapp when he got Palacios, and as you mentioned with Ange Postecoglou, it's vitally needed in a Thomas Frank system. With Morgan Gibbs-White and the energy he and ground he covers, will a number 6 like that destroyer be a vital option as much as it was if it had been Ange this season? Because the ground this man covers is exceptional.
We've got a super chat here from Malware saying Levy checking under his cushions for his emergency funds to trigger that Morgan Gibbs-White clause. What a savage.
Mate, honestly, it's.
I think Brian's just had a word. Brian's got in his ear, and I think he's finally listening.
Mate, who knows? Because literally, when this like the Kudus deal yesterday, when it all obviously went nuts all of a sudden very quickly, this just started off with Ornstein, and it's just spiraled, hasn't it? With everyone, all the big ones talking about it, and obviously Ali Gold mentioning it. This is really gathering pace.
I feel like the Gibbs-White thing makes a lot of sense as well, because there will be some games where you want that kind of real solidity in the middle, but you don't want to lose that quality. And I feel like sometimes when we had Maddison there, especially because our other like kind of midfield players aren't like the most physical, like he gets a bit overrun. He can be a bit of a liability physically. But then when we had him out the team, we just lose that quality. So we couldn't really have him out the team. But now, when you have Gibbs-White there, you kind of keep the physicality while still maintaining the quality in certain games. Obviously, there'll be a lot of games where we need Maddison, we need that guy, or we need that creativity, which I think he's more creative than someone like Gibbs-White. Don't get me wrong, Gibbs-White's a different kind of player. But I think we've now going to have a way of having a player like Gibbs-White in the number 10 without losing kind of real physical presence in the centre, which is really, really exciting.
I think as well, Ben, I think you were at the game as well when we lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest at Forest with Elanga scoring that goal. It was Morgan Gibbs-White just running right through our midfield and playing a perfectly weighted through ball.
Yeah, we couldn't get near him that day.
Yeah, he honestly, he's a special player. I honestly, I can't find a bad thing. Don't know if the people in your chat can. I can't find a single bad point to this deal.
1 second. More breaking news. Morgan Gibbs-White will have a Tottenham. No, that's not true.
Was you about to say medical?
That is true. 1 second. No, it's not true.
It's true or it's not true?
No, it's a troll tweet, I think. I don't understand. Yeah. Morgan... Oh, my God. Medical tomorrow. Medical tomorrow for Morgan Gibbs-White.
What?
Hello.
Morgan Gibbs-White will have a Tottenham medical tomorrow.
Where is that tweet?
Spurs Express.
From who?
Mike McGrath.
What?
Hello.
I can't see this.
Hello.
Yeah, Mike McGrath exclusive.
Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White will have a Tottenham medical tomorrow. Spurs will trigger the £60 million release clause.
Oh my God.
What the hell is
What the hell? Hello. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello. That's not. Is that where? I can't see it.
Go to Mike McGrath's Twitter.
Mike McGrath. Why can't I see it?
Oh my God, mate. Medical tomorrow. So a medical for Kudus today. A medical for bloody Morgan Gibbs-White tomorrow.
Wow, people. This is madness.
Frank.
This is madness.
Everyone's saying this man can't get players in. Every single man saying, or person saying that this man won't do anything at the club. Mate, Oh my God!
Who needs the Ange Paul when you got the train ramming through these deals? Come on, people.
I am in goddamn La La Land.
Wow, well, he's having a medical. This is insane. This is insane, people. How has this happened all so quickly? Lange is man. He's a ninja. The transfer ninja. We're gonna have to start calling him.
Tottenham are moving like a mad club right now. Kudus and then Gibbs-White. Have we ever spent 50 million plus on 2 players in the same window?
Mate, have we spent 50 million on 2 players in the state like within 24 hours?
Why have we not got the here we go from Romero yet? Come on.
It's coming.
It went from an hour ago on since like, yeah, Tottenham are going for Gibbs-White. Now he's having a bloody medical tomorrow.
I've never seen a deal move as quick as this one.
It's insane.
Mate, do you know what? Do you remember I said to you, Ben and Sim, and I've said it to you on our chats, that if we have a shit window, I'll be back in September.
Yeah.
I'll be back in November. I'll see you in November.
That is why all these deals are coming. They heard you were going to come in September. They heard there was going to be a new resident outside of Hotspur Way.
Mate, honestly, this is...
I don't understand. How can they have a medical tomorrow if they haven't agreed a deal yet?
We're going to trigger the release clause. No matter about a
but
deal.
It says Tottenham are confident of agreeing a deal. What do you mean confident? Just trigger the clause. What's the issue? It says talks are ongoing between the 2 clubs, but Tottenham do not anticipate any issues.
Well, it looks as though that they feel like this deal is pretty much done.
It's mental.
Thomas, Frank. Thomas, Frank. Oh, dearie me.
Wolves have a 10% sell-on clause, so we have to give 10% to Wolves.
Let's help Wolves out. They've lost Cunha, they've lost Aiton Yori.
Tottenham also have an interest in Wissa, but their move for Gibbs-White is now accelerating at pace.
Major breaking news coming out of Tottenham. Morgan Gibbs-White medical tomorrow.
This is insane.
Right, so I was
always major breaking news when you get the call in from Brian. Always have big breaking news.
Mate, I'm either asleep when Frank gets announced, but awake for the rest of it. And now we can put Morgan Gibbs-White in my trophy cabinet.
I don't think you're going to sleep until Morgan Gibbs-White is announced now.
Mate, I'm going to be matchsticks wide open. I'm going to be like that. Mate, I'm getting the away shirt from DHgate with 16 Frank on the back. I'm now going to have to get another shirt with Morgan Gibbs-White's name on the back.
Did Ornstein just say something?
Is there another big signing in here for Spurs this window?
What do you mean this window today?
Yeah, why?
43 seconds. Gibbs-White contract believed to include a £60 million release clause. Tottenham work inside midfielder from Forest. Frank was keen on the Forest player while at Brentford.
Frank has come into Tottenham and he's like, can't believe his luck. Like, what is going on? £55 million there, £60 million here.
Well, Ben, this is the thing. You and I said when we're talking about this, when we're doing this in the build-up, and people were saying that, look what he's done at Brentford, the wage ratio, and we both said, when he comes to Tottenham, whatever the budget may be, or the wages, it's going to dwarf whatever he's had at Brentford. Probably double or triple it. Whether the investment has come in or what assurances he wanted before he came in, we were saying like Bakayoko that he wanted to get at Brentford but couldn't get because of the pull of Brentford, understandably. Well, he's obviously an admirer of everyone as the funny tweets were going around. Well, he wanted Kudus by the look of it, and he's going to get him. And he's going to get, by the looks of it, Morgan Gibbs-White. And he wouldn't have been able to get them at Brentford. So I think more and more people need to start getting on the Frank train.
This is insane.
Tottenham Hotspur have arrived, people. We have arrived.
We're well and truly here. Some serious moves in the market, people. Big money on the table.
As soon as you guys get Morgan Gibbs-White t-shirt, send me one my way.
We'll have fun with Gibbs-White with both hands behind his back, singing to the microphone with the bucket with the hat. There you go. We're gonna that's the t-shirt right there.
There you go. I want one.
We'll get you two. We'll get you one.
Spurs have literally gone from penny pinching down to the 9th degree to bloody just splashing the cash like it's nobody's business.
Literally 24 hours ago, we were like, pay the money for Kudus, for God's sake, pay the bloody money. Stop pissing around. 24 hours later, we got him for 55 and bloody Gibbs-White for 60.
Fair play to everyone at the football club.
Yeah, 100%.
And in that, I will include well done, Daniel Levy. Well done. This is what I've wanted, or what people like myself have wanted to happen. And fair play, but you got to think that forget there is something definitely going on at Tottenham Hotspur financially.
Yeah, there is 100%. There's
definitely
there has to be some investment going on. There's been investment in the club, 100%. The Spurs don't move like this, just like willy-nilly.
Can I ask you this, Brian?
Yep.
If these moves get done, which clearly it looks like this all happening, this is what you've been calling for.
Yep.
If for some reason or another things don't work out, whether with Frank or whatever with the season, are you still looking at Levy as to blame? Are the protests still going to start again when we're signing these kind of players?
Well, this is the thing, Sim, what you got to remember, and I've got to keep saying this, when myself and others, won't go into name drops, there's too many, it hasn't just been for what's going on the football pitch, it's been the disrespect of the fans, and it's been the history that we have been absolutely eradicated and not being brought up or lived up to. Daniel Lee, like I said, for me to change my stance on the board, this kind of activity would need to happen regularly, not just a one-off. That these kind of players of this calibre is what Spurs aim for. Obviously not in January. I don't expect us to go for every single player, but a summer window like this. If a Gibbs-White comes in, if a Kudus comes in, and we say, let's just say one or two more players of this level, that's the way that we should be acting. That's the way I've wanted us to act. And I'm
so
sure
you need us to spend another 120 million in this window?
Mate, it doesn't even need to be 120 million. There are players at the £30 million, £25 million. You sign players like this,
Here we go.
You can bring in the players.
Here we go! Oh my God!
Are you joking?
Here we go! Fabrizio Romano breaking Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham. Here we go!
Oh
Spurs trigger 60
God.
million release clause after direct contact today. Medical
Here
test
we
booked
go!
in place in 24 hours. As Mike Graf and the Telegraph reported, Follis Kudus deal done. Massive moves for Spurs project. The three beautiful words that we've been looking for.
This is nuts.
Oh my God. Before we even started this stream,
We were
we
like-
haven't even heard of Spurs being interested in Morgan Gibbs-White.
we've
Just
not got
before
that.
we
Here
started
we
to come
go.
on, this started to filter through. We're like, all right, what the hell is happening here?
Okay,
and
might be
since
maybe
being
we're
on this-
interested.
it was the Ornstein bomber just before. We're like, all right, what is going on here? And now we've got the here we go already. Spurs are making moves in this transfer window. Morgan Gibbs-White through the door. Mohamed Kudus through the door. Who is next, people? Who is next? And this is the change for Tottenham that we've been calling for on these protests all season. This is the change for Tottenham that we've been calling for. And big up to everyone involved. Come on!
This is nuts.
Exactly. This is exactly what anyone of Levy out or whatever have wanted Spurs to do. And people that were Levy, whatever. Everyone at the football club has wanted moves like this to happen. I can literally not believe that 9 o'clock in the morning I was doing a stream about Kudus, finished it at 10 a.m, which would be 3 p.m. your time. Then, mate, this has taken what? So it's taken 2.5 hours from the start. Ben, this is kind of like when we went to Manchester United, Man City, when the filth wanted Trossard, and by the time we got to Birmingham, it was done.
Yeah.
This is well done, everyone at Tottenham. Well done, everyone at Tottenham. And again, I'm going to say it. I include Daniel Levy in that. Fucking done.
I just can't
This is
believe my eyes right now. Am I like dreaming or something? Are Spurs actually pushing their weight around in this transfer market? Are we taking Nottingham Forest's best player? Are we taking West Ham's best player? What is going on? Premier League proven talent of a good age is coming through the doors at Tottenham Hotspur.
Did Levy mean it when he said he wants to win the Premier League and the Champions League?
Maybe
he meant it, Brian. Did he mean it?
Mate, who knows now? Who
It kills
knows?
him.
I've got a manager I've wanted for 2.5 years. I've got a player I've wanted for 4 years. I am absolutely over the goddamn moon. I am, mate. Honestly, what a happy day What an incredible 24 hours.
They're not calling him Morgan Gibbs-White anymore. He's Morgan Gibbs-Lily-White, people. Come on! Come on!
There you go, mate. Hello.
Hello. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello.
I want to get Wolfie on. Where the hell's Wolfie?
Do you know
Get
what?
Wolfie on.
Wolfie's going to be pissed off with me because whenever we've been streaming together, every single time we streamed, I'm like, I want Morgan. He's like, never, never, never. Well, today is never.
Where is Wolfie? Let's get him on.
He's probably a man in demand.
He's probably streaming himself. I don't know. Let me see.
He must be fuming because his brother's a Tottenham fan.
Let's react to his stream if he's streaming. What's his channel called again? Is it Forest
Fan TV or something? Forest Fan
TV. That's it. Oh, I'm so up for reacting to a Wolfie meltdown. He's not live at the moment. Oh, he's about to go live.
Hi guys, and welcome back. Mate, you know what? West Ham fans yesterday, Forest fans today.
Oh no, he did go. He went. No, he was just live.
You got
an
his
hour
number.
ago.
Give him a text.
He's going live at 6:30 in an hour.
Give him a text. Who wants to see Wolfie?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Send me the links and I'll just send it to him. I'll tell him jump on it if you're able to.
Mate, what a happy day. I'm just putting a tweet out myself.
115 million spent in 2 days.
Mate,
what is going on at this football club? Oh my God.
I can't believe when you were saying the here we go. Well, when you said medical, I was like, huh? But then you get the here we go, mate. It's
I'm just in complete shock. I don't know what to even say or do. Like Spurs have just like blown me away in the last 24 hours.
He's probably looking at that request like they can fuck off. He's not even replied.
Mate, honestly, right now, for people that were doubting Thomas Frank or thinking Frank won't be able to get the job done or whatever, just look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Assurance is wanted. Assurance is given.
Someone in the comments says Wolfie is on Potts' channel.
Oh, he's on. Oh, they did that channel. Okay. That's Dan Potts, isn't it?
Is he Arsenal?
He's Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's Arsenal.
Oh, I see the enemy.
He's live with Sava on Potts.
With Sava. Is it 12th man?
Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank. Boys, listen, you've got your season. Whoever's got your season tickets and is going to the games, get ready. Get ready for
what do you mean,
season.
Whoever's got our season tickets? We've got our season tickets.
Mate, listen, look, if someone had said you're going to go to Udinese to watch the Super Cup, regardless of the result, and you're going to see Morgan Gibbs-White and Kudus in a Spurs shirt, if someone had said that to you 2 weeks ago, and I said both of them, you would have been, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it, mate. Oh...
we just got the here we go.
2 here we goes in 2 days for 2 significant players.
Insane.
Straight away, this window is the best window we've had under Levy. Immediately, and there's still 2 months of it left, or 1.5. That's the first time we've gone and bought 2 undisputable straight into the first team players.
Have we already broken our? We haven't broken our record for one window, have we?
What in terms of We spent. Well, actually, the last time we spent over 50 million twice in one window was Lo Celso and Ndombele, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, yes, but Lo Celso was like a loan, but yeah.
But we spent like, what was it? 50
I think it was 45 on him. Maybe, 45 on him, 60 on Tongi.
What's the most we've ever spent in one window?
I think it was the one under Ange, wasn't it?
When Brennan came in.
Brennan, Van der Ven, Madison.
That was like close to 200 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been over. It was like, and Vicario.
Yeah.
But this one already, you got 120 million there.
This is 120 million.
No, and you got Tell.
You got Tell and Dan.
Tell for 30. Dance, yeah, kind of Danso for, I guess, Danso for 20. So we're already on 170.
Yeah. With no
Takai.
sales. No sales.
And Takai.
Yeah, Takai 5.
175
With no
million.
sales.
So we're going to easily break our record, surely, this
Depends how many more players. Like, is that going to be us done? Or are we going to do more? Are we going to keep going?
Mate, listen,
keep
I think
going.
you've got to look at it. This is without... All we've done is send Valise out on loan and... what's his name?
Yeah.
To Doncaster. What's it? Ajay. There's
You
got to be some.
got to think there's got to be a significant sale going on.
Yeah, there has to be at least one.
Mate, there's going to be some sales.
Is this Romero money we're spending? Who else is it going to be?
Well, mate, also you got to remember, there is no doubt in my mind now, absolutely no doubt, that from somewhere, whether it be from Enoch, whether it be from a takeover or a minority share, something has definitely been pumped into Tottenham Hotspur.
100%.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. We have never moved with this kind of intent. Ever.
I'm not even used to Kudus being at Spurs. We've already got a new shiny toy after Kudus. What is going on?
Literally.
You just look at it now. Just look at that now. And then two, like we said, 24, 25. I think Kudus on a 6-year contract.
Yeah.
He's still gonna get better and better. Morgan Gibbs-White will just get stronger and stronger. It's just what a wonderful 24 hours.
This has been an insane 24 hours.
I've changed the title of this live stream about 5 times this whole stream. Things keep happening.
My phone is going absolutely bonkers. I can only imagine what yours is.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Wolfie says he needs about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
all right, we'll wait for him.
He needs to. Mate, honestly, this has got to be a blow. They've lost Alanga and Morgan Gibbs-White in the last few days.
You look at it, right? Teams have made some significant moves. This summer window has actually been mad when you think about it. When you look at all the deals, all in all, what everyone has done. You look at Man City, who they've brought in. Eight Nori, Reinders. Who else have they brought in? They've brought in some other players as well. Who?
Cherky.
Yeah, Ryan Cherky. There's been another one in midfield, haven't they, that they've brought in? I can't remember. Yep. They've brought in some significant players. You've got Liverpool. They've brought in Frimpong, Wirtz, Kirkes. You look at, Arsenal have brought in Zubamendi, and they're rumoured to bring in a Gyökeres, or very close to bringing in a Gyökeres. Potentially Eze and Madueke as well. Yeah, you're looking at... you're looking at Chelsea. Who have Chelsea brought in this window? João Pedro, Liam Delap.
It's been mental moves,
mad moves this summer.
And now we're finally joining the party. We are finally joining the party, people. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. It's can't quite believe it's happening. I can't quite believe that Tottenham have actually... When was the last time, Brian, you can remember, we ever activated a release clause?
Bloody hell.
I can't remember ever.
If you can't remember...
Let me see if I just type into Google Tottenham activate release clause. Let me see what
come up with Gibbs-White.
Mate, honestly, I can't remember. Dean Richards. Was it Dean Richards?
Bloody hell, that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago, but Dean Richards definitely had a release fee.
It's only Gibbs-White that's coming up.
No, 1 minute.
Well, and I've got to say, not only have Spurs triggered a release fee, there hasn't been any...
Toby Alderweireld we did, because they had that weird deal when he left Atletico. He had a release clause. That's how we got him. So what was the last time since Toby? That was 25 million. It's not exactly.
I think more to the point, Simeon, is when have Spurs gone in and had a look what we've tried to do apparently over Eze over 3 years, and we know what the release fee has been, and it's been the 60 million.
Yeah, 68.
And we've not gone
68,
bang, bang,
I think
bang. Well, 68 with the bonus. I think it's 60 with 8, whatever. But apparently it's a 60 million release fee, and bang, Tottenham have gone and done it.
Maybe you never know, Brian. Maybe if Arsenal keep dithering on him, maybe we can swoop in there.
Mate, could you imagine Kudus, Morgan Gibbs-White and Eze and Thomas Frank? Like I said, my job is done. My job is done, What a witch. Just listen, just basking in the glory. I can't believe I'm going to say this. In the last 24 hours, Tottenham Hotspur have bought Mohamed Kudus, Morgan Gibbs-White, and spent £115 million in the process.
This is just mad. Like, I was already in a good mood this morning, but like, cast your mind back to like 3-4 days ago. I was like so disillusioned with Spurs' transfer market situation. I was like, who the hell are we going to bring in? We're losing targets day by day. We're not going to bring in anyone.
We do it quietly.
I
never thought Gibbs-White was realistic. Yeah, I didn't even include it. I just didn't think we'd ever go for him. But
well, you think about it again. You go back to it. Antonio Conte had the £150 million windfall. We didn't spend 150 or 100 million pound, but we bought 7 players.
Yeah,
we've eclipsed that in 24 hours and bought 2 high caliber players, very high caliber players with enormous ceilings.
I want to know how much this investment is.
I'm just shocked that we've actually gone and stumped the money and put it on the table for her to activate it. I'm shocked, absolutely shocked. We never do that. It's just not what Tottenham do. Other clubs do that. Other clubs, when they want a player.
Change for Tottenham.
We never do this. This is so un-Tottenham.
Mate, this is... I don't even know what to say. Honestly, this is what we've all dreamed of. Regardless of where you stand on the ownership, manager, whatever, as a football club, these are the type of signings we've wanted us to be in for. And always wondered, why aren't we doing this, or why haven't we gone for them? And obviously, it comes back to the man at the top, or you could say the manager, whatever. Well, Spurs have gone in and got two players that immediately beef up this squad.
Do you reckon Vinay has just come in and been like, what the fuck are you doing here, mate? You've got this stadium, you've got this training ground. Start acting like a big club like you all perceive it to be.
You've got, listen, whether you want to agree with it or not, changes have happened within this board reshuffle. Whether it could be the investment. But Vinay came in and has changed things for the fans, as we all know, fan engagement, whatever. Spurs have never moved like this in the transfer window, ever.
Yeah.
The rumour mills and, yeah, we're going for this one and talks ongoing, whatever, they've never moved with this intent, ever.
Yeah.
So if they haven't done it for 25 years, and let's just say 50 transfer windows, something very different is happening.
I know. It's mad.
Very different.
It's mad, and look, finally we're starting to act how we all want us to act. Let's just hope there's no caveat to this and there's going to be some sort of shock news coming with some big player leaving, which you never expected. But
who would that be, Ben? And if you look at it, we've said it all along. Look what Liverpool did with Coutinho. Sometimes you have to go of a star if you're not to bring in and plug holes. If that, so be it. Like we said, I'm fully on board whatever Frank wants to do. If
so
Frank did, we get rid of a player. We get rid of a player.
What's our strongest 11 now?
Mate,
we know Vicario goal. We know the back four.
Mate, the funniest thing, Ben, is do you remember you last week chose the formation and went through the blooming strongest 11? Well, if you were to do that now, and now you can add Kudus and Morgan.
Now it's more interesting, yeah.
Yeah, now it's like Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to get some Forest reaction on X, but I can't find it.
It's
what's our strongest midfield? Midfield 3.
Morgan Gibbs-White immediately for me, straight away.
People keep saying in the chat it's been a £300 million investment, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's just some rumours on X.
Right.
Some tale for about Saudi £300 million sponsorship.
Well, do you know what? There were people talking about 300 million before the season ended. But obviously that was all talk and whatever, and obviously it'll take you with a pinch of salt. Something's definitely happening. Whatever it is, I'm all bloody for it.
Yeah, so back to that 3-man midfield. What's our strongest?
It's got to be God.
Morgan Gibbs-White, Madison, Bergvall for me.
Does Bergvall get in there now?
Bergvall or Bentancur.
Unless you don't want to play a defensive midfielder, I guess. But like, if we play defensive midfielder,
well, it's a double pivot and a 10. So who gets in the 10 and who gets in the double? Is Morgan Gibbs-White part of the double pivot, or is he the 10?
Either. I think Maddison will start number 10. I think Maddison will start 10. But obviously you now have the option that he can play. He can move Gibbs-White up. But for me, Gibbs-White is the first midfielder on the team sheet for me. I am very, very biased, though. I'm incredibly biased.
Does a double pivot of Bergvall and Morgan Gibbs-White have enough steel in it? They're both very hard workers.
Probably not. Especially if you've got Maddison ahead of them.
All three of them are very hard workers.
Yeah, it's not about hard work. It's about strength.
Well, you look at it as one. I've seen a couple of people say it in your chat. Maddison has always had an injury issue, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. So if he is out now, that's straight away MGW at 10. So that kind of caveats that, which is brilliant and what we want competition for places. But for, like I said, it's very, very hard for me to be neutral on this because he is now my number one choice for midfield.
I think, yeah, maybe. I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think. What is our best midfield? Oh, man. But yeah, Maddison, Gibbs-White and Bentancur probably. And in terms of a balanced midfield.
Could there be like a Pape Matar sale?
There could be. Although I think, again, I think he'll excel under Frank. But whatever, listen, there's going to be outgoings. Whoever Frank deems he wants to get rid of, fine by me. Fine by me. If this is what he's bringing in and he has to supplement with outgoings, fine by me. Even if it was Romero.
Just like even
if someone said to me, I'll ask you to, if someone said to you, keep Romero and don't get these two, or get these two and don't keep Romero, which one are you picking?
Does that mean Romero signs a new contract?
I hadn't thought of that part, so say no. Say no, like Romero's just not been able to get sold.
I would say sell Romero and get these two, because if Romero's going to go anyway, then I'd rather replenish the squad, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, can you imagine now if Romero signs a contract is the next news?
Well, the news came out this morning saying he rejected one. Maybe on the back of these two signings, he's like, oh, maybe I will sign.
Yeah, that's the thing. Moving with, that's what the players have wanted to see, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe this is like Romero, here you go, put pen to paper.
Ornstein tweets 3 minutes ago, Gibbs-White scheduled to undergo medical on Friday ahead of proposed transfer from Forest to Tottenham. 25-year-old international has a 6 million release clause enabling the Tottenham move.
Wow.
There you go, Ornstein.
Wow.
Medical.
And it's finally like we can't even give the Danny Rose jokes for these transfers as well. Nobody needs Googling.
No.
Is this what touching silverware does to this club, Brian? Is this what happens?
Well, we tried this in 2008 and it didn't work.
Who did we sign that summer?
No, that summer it was the complete opposite. We sold Berbatov, we sold Keane. It was the worst summer ever. Yeah, it was such an awful summer.
So you look at it right now, okay, Dan, So and Tell were cut and dry, we knew it. That's 5 additions. Dan So, I think, will go from strength to strength. Tell, I think, we'll see a different player. Takai, obviously, is the one where we'll wait and see what happens. Obviously, he's young, he'll develop, but he plugs holes, whether he goes on loan. And then Kudus, and I still can't believe I'm going to say this one, Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Today is a good day. I think I'm going to be playing that Ice Cube. Is it Ice Cube? Yeah, it is Ice Cube song. Today was a good day. I think I'm going to be having that in the background all day today.
Brian, you messaged me. You messaged me, I think, yesterday morning, a voice note being like, I feel like something really bad is going to happen today.
I did. And then I said to you, I think we're going to have to change the ding to win. Because That's what we're on at the moment. That's what I honestly had yesterday. I was like, "Oh, today's going to be a bad day. Today is going to be the day where it all falls apart." But my God, Spurs are making moves.
We're not Spursy anymore. We're not Spursy anymore.
Maybe I will buy one of those T-shirts. This is Spursy from the Spurs shop.
Lay it to rest, people. We're moving on. We're a serious institution now. We're European champions. This is the serious business.
This is as someone's just put. I was going to do a shirt mock up of when Dagel met Frank. I might have to do a Dagel meets Morgan Gibbs-White. I'm delirious at the moment. I am absolutely 50 million shades of delirium.
And Brennan Johnson and then Morgan Gibbs-White linking up once again.
Yes. Yep. Teammates, former teammates.
Yep.
Will be teammates again.
They will. They will. Mate, see, Brennan Johnson might be playing more centrally. He's now players like Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White. I want to sing every time I say his name.
Are we going to have a double announcement, or are they going to do one at a time?
Oh, could you... Mate, do you remember when we did that? Well, do you remember we had this with Bale and Regulon?
Yeah.
Where they did Reggie first and then they brought Bale. Maybe, mate. Maybe.
God.
Just oh, what a 24 hours.
It's just mad how these things have escalated. Lange, man, Lange needs a lot of credit. He's working in silence and he's pulling off some worldies.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, if you look again, like you said with Lange, a lot of it has been the youngsters he's done, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's been the Greys, the Bergvals, or whatever. This is to talk about moving in the shadows.
Exactly. It's very different to the Don, isn't it, of Brian, where you everything's public, every move, every deal, everything's kind of in the public eye, and Lange doesn't. He just works under the shadows, very discreet, and then bam, you get a fucking bomber.
Well, you look at it, Sim. At one point, I was thinking, is Paratici involved? Because obviously there was Visser, there's been Eze, there's been Mbuemo, there's been this one, that one, everyone. And it was like, okay, is Paratici juggling 10 things at once, so it's quiet on the other? Well, now this one was just bag out of the blue. Just exceptional business. Exceptional business. And most importantly, exceptional the way Spurs have gone about doing it.
Absolutely.
Just no haggling, no messing about. Okay, you've got 60 million in your release fee. Bang, there's 60 in whatever structure it's been done.
And if we go and get Wisser tomorrow...
Then I would
perfect
be saying,
week.
Mate, a perfect week. Could anything be better? Has there been a better week, transfer-wise, in our recent history? And I'll go back to Sugar as well, where Spurs have literally gone and got 3, if Wisser was to come, 3 Premier League proven, ready-made players to walk into this.
And this is what Danny Rose and also I think Romero and a lot of players also, the impact this will have on the dressing room, signing these kind of players. These players know they've played against, they know how good they are, and they know what kind of how impact they're going to have on the team. I think what a lift and a boost it gives these players, in the squad, especially there's a young squad. The belief and the boost it's going to give them is going to be massive, I think.
100%. I can see Danny Kiriakou wants to join, apparently.
We've got some super chats. Got a lot of super chats we missed. First one was from Crazy Rat again, of course. Oh no, wait. I don't know when was the last one we read out.
Can you bring on the bottom bar?
What was the last one we read out? Malware, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So Isaac Kim says, sell Bissouma, Bentancur, Pape Sarr, get Barella.
Just put them on the overlay.
One sec, where is it? Is it there? It's not there yet. On the... You have to hide the...
There we go.
There we go. So Isaac Kim says, sell Bissouma, Bentacon, Pape Star, and get Barella. Not asking for too much. Wouldn't mind that. Malware says Levy checking under his cushions for. Oh no, we saw that one. I think.
Yeah.
What a savage. Oh no, so I'm scrolling upwards. Malware says Frank must got some dirt on Levy. What the actual heck is going on? Someone has got something. He's definitely being blackmailed here. He's being blackmailed for sure. Rain Man says PL proven players. This isn't the Spurs. I love hate. This isn't the Spurs. I love hate. Yeah, 100%. This is just I think every Tottenham fan must be absolutely shell shocked right now about what is happening. Power TCD says, boys, stay live. 24-hour stream. You can't stop. We are moving.
We got a big stream to bring you tonight as well. Big stream.
Every signing we extend the stream by 3 hours. How about that?
Are you doing another one this evening?
Yeah, we got a live at 9 o'clock tonight. Bang here in the studio with Terry Flewers, Hugh Izzy, and Henry Wright.
Charlie Vale says, what a day bring on PSG. Crazy Rat says, Sim, you can throw the acting surprise now. You were the one that got this deal done. Big up to Crazy.
Yeah, it's you.
It's always me. Classic. SSJ says, West Ham, I'll take your Kudus. Forest, give me my Gibbs-White. Palace, let's have an Adam Wharton-sized chat. Come on, you Spurs. Adam Wharton, anyone?
If we bring in Adam Wharton...
Can I just say that very, very quickly on that, just very, very, don't shoot the messenger. I had someone message me today and said apparently we've already put a bid in for him that was refused. And we could be going back in for a second. Who knows? And the way Spurs are moving right now,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. The word Spurs moving right now. Nothing's off the table now, Brian.
No, mate. Just everything. I was thinking, you know what?
I heard Rodrigo wants to leave Madrid. Come on.
I was like, surely we would have heard something about that with Wharton, but just look what's happened with MGW. Just look. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Crazy Rat, I said it before and I'll say it again. Ben and Dagel are twins. Solanke and Gibbs-White are twins. Sim is unique and dangerous.
Do you know what? I don't. Crazy Rat, fair play to him. I don't even know how he sits there and thinks of these things.
Honestly, he's very creative.
That is brilliant. Yeah, Simeon, have you ever been said if people could say two words to describe you as unique and dangerous?
Unique and dangerous. That's a first, I have to say. AT says, what the F, how do we gonna line up and the next 6? Yes, a lot of we spoke about that. Honestly, I'm looking at midfield options now and I've got no idea, which is exciting. Very exciting. Wolves FI says, Spurs and Frank is change. Should we praise Levy? Should we, Brian?
Listen, I've said it. The getting the deals over the line and signing off on them, he does deserve praise, and I will give it to him because this is what I've wanted him to do.
And activating the release clause, Brian, you know that, the reason why we don't activate release clause is because you have to pay the cash up front. So they've decided to do that. He signed off on it. So credit for clearly a change in policy of not doing these kind of deals where you're paying all the cash immediately.
But what I will say with that, Sim, is do I credit Levy with that part? No, I don't. Because obviously there has been huge changes with Cullen out, Charrington in, Vinay in. Daniel Levy deserves credit for signing off on it, no doubt. But there's no way Daniel Levy woke up one day and said, right, do you know what, now I'm going to completely change everything I do and everything I stand for. But, like I said, for signing off on them and getting them done, he deserves enormous credit. And me of all people will say that. Got no problem. Always said when praise is deserved, I'll always give it, and he does deserve praise.
Malware again says, do we support City or Spurs? What is going on?
Is this what it's like to support Man City?
This is what happens when you win a trophy. This is what it feels like. Phil P says, first Frank, now Gibbs-White. Happy birthday, Dagel. Woohoo!
Oh, happy birthday, Dagel.
Happy birthday. Everyone wish Dagel a happy birthday in the chat. Happy birthday. Come on. Power TCD again says, has the sleeping giants finally woken up? Have we? Is this it? Is this the summer we've all been waiting for?
Summer. This is final.
This
We
the
are
summer?
finally here. Tottenham have arrived.
Wolfie says, on my way now, but not got long.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Brian, we're going to have to make a substitution.
Do you know what? I will just say with Wolfie, I was about to send you a message saying Danny really wants to come on, because I sent him the link, but you're getting rid of me. Fair play. And I will say Wolfie's not going to be happy with me, because we've had this discussion many, many a time. I am just ecstatic. Thank you for having me on, boys. All I will say is Thomas, Frank, Thomas, Frank, and finally, hello. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. He's Morgan Gibbs-White. Brothers, love you dearly. Everyone in the chat, have a great day. Speak to you soon. Yalla.
See you, Brian. All right, that's Brian Dagel. Fantastic. What a reaction. He's always there for the big breaking news, Brian Dagel.
He really is. Every time we bring him on.
God, just having
a couple
all the
more
time.
super chats as well filtering through.
Yeah, let's. So Wolfie's going to be here any second, but so Sammy, just keep an eye out for that. So where was I? Forest fans not taking this well over on X, says Powder TCD. If you can send me some, I'll do reaction. I can't find any. Phil P says Vinay has been watching all of Dagel's content. Tristan T says love this for us, man. What's the next priority? Good question. What is the next priority? Probably outgoings, I'll probably say after this, but I would be shocked if we sign even more players before anyone goes. But then again, I would have been shocked if we signed anyone after Kudus, to be honest, before anyone left. And I would have never in a million years thought we would have gotten Gibbs-White. So what do I know? Historic Hotspur TV says, what are your guys' thoughts on this window? More Gibbs-White, Kudus, Vlahovic, Wissa, and a 6. Big up everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Is that a window you'd like?
Who's
Gibbs-White, Kudus, Vlahovic, or Wissa, and a 6.
Would love that. I think that would be a bloody brilliant window.
But no defenders coming in.
Yeah, I'll still take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. Real Nate says, with what we've brought in, does Cudis stay? That's the big question at the moment.
I think that we're doing our best efforts to show him we're ambitious. That's the truth.
All right, Wolfie's in the back end. So let's get him on. He doesn't have long, he says. All right, I'll get rid of that.
Ready?
Oh, yeah, you go.
Ready?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's bring him on.
Wolfie. The
Hello.
European champions are bolstering their muscles. What is going on?
Oh, you're doing the whole
Wolfie?
European champs thing. You're running that line in front of me when I got these.
Well, how long ago was that?
Does history just have an expiry date, or what are we saying?
We're talking about current European champions.
I thought that was PSG.
They're also a European champion as well.
They're a higher level European champion.
Yeah,
we're a European champion.
My level, I get that. How are you boys? You well?
It's good to see you, Wolfie.
I'm brilliant,
Good to see
Wolfie.
you
How are
guys
you,
too.
mate?
So what have I missed?
Hasn't your brother called you yet, Wolfie? I'm sure he's let you know.
I actually haven't spoken to my brother yet. I was on another channel as the news was breaking, and by the time that stream finished, it was a here we go. And I was like, when have Spurs ever moved like this in all my time of watching football? I can't think of it apart from deadline days, Harry Redknapp outside in the car park and what have you. This has just been a whirlwind today, mate. Whirlwind.
It's been crazy. In terms of your immediate reaction to Tottenham triggering the release clause, was there an expectation he was going to be leaving this summer? Has this taken the fan base by complete surprise?
There was a lot of talks about Gibbs-White going to Man City towards the end of the season and the start of the transfer window, and then they ended up going with Cherky and Reinders, etc. The talk then moved on to him signing a new contract and contract talks happening between him and Forest. It's been very quiet since that Man City talk to now about Gibbs-White leaving Forest. The thing that was probably playing on my mind was the fact he had 2 years left. So I'm speculating here, but maybe they couldn't come to an agreement on the contract, or maybe he did want to play the Champions League football. But I don't think Forest could then risk leaving him into his final year this time next summer with Bosmans, etc. on the horizon. What's taken me most by surprise is the release clause. We'd never got wind of any of that at all in his contract. So that one's caught me kind of a bit left field. But yeah, the general reaction is, he was a very important player to us last couple of years. Is he that difference maker for you? I hate to disappoint you. I'm not convinced. He can be a very frustrating player. An excellent player, but a very frustrating player. If you're expecting someone to bag you double figures from the midfield in goals, he's not your guy. He needs to work heavily on his shooting. But his highlights reel always look very, very good. And that's not copium, by the way, boys.
It sounds a bit like it, to be honest. It sounds.
I'll tell you why I started is because he's our version of Bruno Fernandes in terms of he's the linchman, but he can also be very frustrating on the pitch. 70% of what he tries doesn't come off, but the 30% that does is pivotal. It's kind of, I'm making up the percentages, but you get my point.
He's got 15 goal contributions last season, 15 the year before, 12 the year before. That is a significant amount of goal contributions in a Forest side. I know you did very well last year, but don't mean to be rude, but the last couple of years you hadn't done too well.
They don't score many goals,
to put it bluntly. And
finishing 17th ain't a nice position, is it?
No, it's not exactly. Yeah. And I know you can feel my pain. I'm sure you can feel my pain.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Exactly. So is there not sense to say that at Tottenham he can take his game to a higher level and much improve that goal output or that contribution output?
I think for me personally, for Gibbs-White to kick on to his true potential, I don't think he has reached his true potential. I personally would like to see him play more as an 8 because I don't think his finishing is good enough. But what he has better than most players I see in the Premier League is his work rates. His work rates are phenomenal. He'll get up and down that pitch. The same, energy he puts minute 1, he's still putting minute 90. Fitness-wise, he's very good. His passing is, yes, it's a bit too flamboyant, but a lot of Forest fans would probably agree with me when I say if he just simplified his game a bit more, he would be even better. He doesn't need to go for the Trivela outside the boot pass, every other pass, just play the simple 5-yard pass, etc. And him inside the middle of that midfield, I think he can almost pull the strings in a midfield a lot better than where he is higher up the pitch. Now, your style is different to ours. Well, on your previous regime, it was. So I think Gibbs-White maybe gets a bit more freedom higher up the pitch in a Spurs team if you are playing a bit of a higher line, depending on what Thomas Frank does. He's got the potential. I think he's looked very good, for example, in the England games when he's been around more quality midfielders, because I think our midfield has been lacking in a bit of quality over the last couple of years. So when you put quality around him, and I know you've just brought Kudus in as an example, he can thrive off that. But where he thrives well is when he's got a playing partner on the pitch. So Brennan Johnson, I know you guys have your varying opinions on him, but him and Gibbs-White had a phenomenal relationship at Forest in terms of goals and assists between them, and they did drive, and they were the reason we stayed up that season. So that's a relationship that can be rekindled there. I don't know what you're doing with Jono with Kudus coming in probably on that right hand side, but there is a lot of potential within him, but there is also a lot of frustrations.
Did you feel like, because I was just talking to our friend Brian Dagel was on the stream earlier, he's saying
he apologizes to you.
He does apologize to you, but he was saying, could he be more of an 8? Do you think for Tottenham? Do you feel like his best position is definitely a 10, or do you think maybe he could thrive more of an 8 position?
I would play him in the 8. I would 100% play him in the 8, because I think what you could do is potentially play him in the 8, put Maddison in the 10, depending on obviously on the formation you've got. his work rates will free Maddison up to be more creative in that final third, because Gibbs-White will happily do, the hard graft as well. And then, like I said, he'll find those link-up plays. Him and Maddison could find themselves having good chemistry on that pitch. But he'll almost play like the 68 and the 10 all in one game. That's how heavy his work rates are. And he's a trigger point for a lot of our good stuff. Now, I'm not coming on here saying he's a scrub or he's a rubbish player or anything. I'm just saying, with his talent and what I expect of him, there is still elements to his game that I need to see improving. And that's why I would like to see him deeper, because I think his biggest weakness is shooting. So if you're almost eliminating that and make him more as the assist or the assist of the assist, or the guy who turns over the play in midfield and then can trigger your attack, I think you will see him revel even stronger if you do that. But it's whether or not he sees himself as a 10 or Thomas Frank sees himself as a 10. My personal opinion in the last few years of watching Gibbs-White is put him a little deeper and he'll be more influential.
Where do you think he fits in this current Tottenham midfield then? Like, is he a nailed-on starter, do you reckon?
There's always a debate, and we've always had it between like the Forest fans and the Leicester fans about Maddison versus Gibbs-White. I have it with my brother, Gibbs-White versus Maddison. I don't know, and I don't think it really matters, to be honest. If you are starting to move in this transfer window like you are, it's not a 1-11 game anymore in football. You need a full 25 or 23-man squad. So if you're putting, where he thrives is under pressure and under expectations of himself. Like, his pure soul determination over the last 12 months was to get into the England squad. And he worked extremely hard to get that. So if he sets himself a goal that, come what may, he wants to become the first name on that team sheet for the midfield, then you will see that level of, motivation from him and expectation from him. So he can do it, but at the same time, you sometimes get him trying too hard. And that's the bit I was talking to you about, where less is more with him. So it depends, really. And it depends how you guys, I think, perceive him. Like, the way some of the Spurs fans welcomed Jono in, ended up, turning off all his social medias and stuff. Is that the same kind of eye you're looking at this with Morgan Gibbs-White? I don't think you will, because I think he comes with more kind of clout, more street cred than Brennan Johnson did when he came to Spurs. But I would just say, make sure you play him in the right position, put the right players around him. And he's done it for the last few years in the Premier League. He doesn't need time to hit the ground. This is a guy who's kind of oven ready, who can go into a midfield, who has connections with some of your teammates, some of your players already. But 8 for me would be his right position.
I've actually got a bit of breaking news for you, Wolfie. Nottingham Forest transfer news, if you want to hear it.
David Ornstein. Murillo or something.
No, David Ornstein says Nottingham Forest have renewed their pursuit of Johan Wissa. Fresh offer made for Brentford, 28-year-old. Bid falls under £25 million, as Nottingham Forest prepared to pay in the January window, and considerably lower than what Brentford's valuation is in excess of £50 million.
Yeah, you guys are after him as well, aren't you?
Yeah,
but it sounds like we're funding your move for him.
Yeah, I mean, we've been after him for quite a while. Nuno is a massive fan of Wissa. I think we put a 21 or 25 mil bid in Jan that got rejected. I heard they're trying to value him at around 35 to 40 million, but he hasn't got long left, if I'm not mistaken, on his contract.
Year,
So yeah, I think Forest, look, the thing that's annoyed me about this week is we keep getting told, and I've been told, that Forest don't need to sell any players. All players were happy. No one was pushing for a move. Gibbs-White wasn't pushing for a move. Elanga wasn't pushing for a move. And Forest, I probably expected one sale from like our, big name, home renowned names. To do 2 in a week means that for us to be appeased as fans, they better start bringing in some stuff the other way that's at least, known to the majority of the fan base.
How do you feel about the fee, 60 million? I know it's a release clause, but do you feel Forest have got a good deal there? Spurs have got a good deal? Is that his value, or what do you reckon about that?
It's a bit of a weird one, because when Man City came in for him a couple of months ago, there was no talk about 60 million, and there was talks that Forest were looking to push for 70+ mil for him. It's what you value players at these days. Like, if I'm looking at it objectively, he's probably a 50 to 60 million pound player. I would have liked, knowing that Forest aren't under any PSR stress this summer, I'd have liked Forest to have got over the odds. So I don't actually think he got a bad price in 60 million. When you're looking at someone like Cunha, who you'd say is another 10, he went for 62.5, didn't he, to Manchester United. I'd say Cunha is a better player. Doesn't have the same kind of mental attributes as a Gibbs-White, and I think, you know, Gibbs-White would fit better into a dressing room than Cunha. But if you're looking on pure football ability, I'd say Cunha is better. So if Cunha is the benchmark and you're a few million behind, you're probably in the right ballpark.
Okay. And in terms of Forest themselves, you've sold now Elanga, you're selling Gibbs-White. Are you getting very worried about, you know, last season, big European finish, and you were hoping to kick on this summer, but was it a case of this was always likely to happen, or are you frustrated with the situation?
No, I didn't expect this to happen, if I'm being honest, from what I was hearing, from the fact that no players were pushing for moves. I thought we'd get rid of some of the fringe players and then bring some new players in. We've already brought 2 in over from Botafogo, Igor Jesus, the striker that scored against PSG in that Club World Cup. So he's done and confirmed, and we're about to have the centre-back Jair Cunha confirmed. I think we now, with the names we've just lost in terms of Elanga and Gibbs-White, I think at least my expectation is I want to see some decent-sized names coming in the other way. So am I frustrated yet? No. My stance is this: if you're getting rid of these players, then what replaces them needs to be on par or better. So if the replacements are not on par or better, then yeah, I will start to kind of shout my head off on videos and stuff. But I'll stay calm for now until I see what the plan is. If you look at yourselves, if you look at Arsenal this window, Arsenal fans losing their head when they're bringing in a Kepa first and then a Norgard and what have you, and then potentially now getting the Gyökeres deal done, etc. Spurs have been quiet for the first month of the transfer window, only really signing Tell and I think, was it a Japanese defender you brought in?
Kota Takai.
So, and then your window's kind of exploded into life in the last few days. So yes, as a fan, you get impatient, but as a club, I guess you like to hope they know what they're doing. And I think a few things will need to be explained after this week.
Is there an annoyance for you that he's chosen a club like Tottenham, who obviously we did finish 17th last season?
I hate your club. I have... well, let's just say I've had a lot of fights with my brother over the year. I remember when Andy Reid and Dawson went, it wasn't a pleasant time in my household there between me and my brother. There was a lot of friction. So Gibbs-White going to Spurs, I just kind of feel like it's a betrayal to me. If you're going to go to a club with, you know, bigger ambition.
Don't forget Spurs, Brennan Johnson as well, who's now scored.
Yeah, Brennan Johnson, look, it was what it was. It's like, it had to happen because PSR. I can forgive that one. He didn't really push for a move on that one. I just thought Gibbs-White had higher standards.
He's coming to the Europa League champions. What do you want from him?
And
do you reckon there will be a bit of like ill feeling towards Morgan Gibbs-White from the Nottingham Forest faithful, like you aside?
No,
none at all.
No, I don't. He's one that you would have thought, had you just been dropped, you know, on planet Earth and just seen him for the first time, you'd have thought he was, you know, born in the city ground. Like, he's been taken, we took to him like he is kind of one of our own, as the saying goes. He's given a lot of crap to the Wolves fans. You know, his finger and ear celebration came with the Wolves lot and that. So it depends how he reacts to us. I think we'd be forgiving as long as he doesn't score against us. But if he does and starts putting that celebration, I don't know, towards the Trent end or something, then yeah, it could change a lot of opinions. But I think he goes with a lot of blessings for what he has done in the last few seasons for Forest. But from a personal point of view, going to Spurs is non-negotiable with me. So, because of my brother, so there will be a little bit of animosity from my end.
Yeah, is it also amongst the fan base? Is there a bit of a frustration that he's gone to Tottenham at a time where you should be pushing on away from us, right? You should be, you won Europe, we were 17th, you should be like trying to capitalise, and yet you've lost one of your better players to us.
Yeah, definitely on that front. My expectation, as I said, was lose a few of the fringe players, make some money off that, but build on the foundations that we worked so hard for last season. And now you look at this and you think, well, he got, I can't remember how many, he got seven goals, 8 assists last season. Elanga got 17 GA. So within 2 players, you're almost pushing towards 30 on GA. Forest have to replace that, and it's not easy to replace that. So that's where frustration comes in. You keep them and you build on that, then you're looking at a better foundation. And even if you get a new player in, we've been linked with the likes of Bakayoko, etc. They still come with their risks. Yes, they may potentially in the long term be better than an Elanga or whoever they're replacing, but they're still an unknown. Whereas these players were settled in. Each of them had been there at least a couple of seasons. So you never know. Any player coming in, doesn't matter who they are, you never know how they're going to slot in as well. I'm sure you guys have experienced it plenty of times at Spurs as well. So there's always that element of risk. And I think by keeping your players, you know, it's better the devil you know sometimes.
How much of a level raiser and an expectation increaser do you think this and Kudus is for Spurs?
I would be more excited about Kudus, if I'm honest with you guys. I know he had a bit of a stinker last season, but the raw quality of that player, a fresh challenge at Spurs, going out of a terrible club like West Ham, I think will do him the world of good, and I think he'll be able to kind of express himself and have, you know, more opportunities to really flourish at Spurs. I don't know about Morgan Gibbs-White, if I'm being honest with you, how he fits in. He's either going to be a massive hit or a bust. That's what I'm not sure. Are you going to utilize him as a almost guaranteed starter, or is he going to be a squad rotator? And who's he going to rotate with? Is it going to be that 10 position, or is he going to be with someone in the 8 position? I think that's the first thing you have to figure out.
Maybe
with
both.
him. Exactly, it could be both. And then does he turn into a utility man? So I still think there's a few question marks for me. If I was advising you guys, play him in the 8 and you won't go wrong. If you play him in the 10, I don't know.
Interesting. Wow. Wolfie, always a pleasure, my friend, especially
anytime,
at times like
boys.
this.
Sorry it's so
Especially
short,
at
but
times
yeah.
like
No
this.
worries. Appreciate
My
you
WhatsApp's
coming
been
on.
going off the hook with everyone.
Yeah, I bet everyone wants a piece. Everyone wants a piece.
You got to face your brother at some point.
Yeah, well, I get to avoid him for another hour because I'm going live at 6:30. So I'll speak to him after that. Yeah.
Enjoy
Brilliant.
it. We'll go and
Now I
subscribe
get to catch up with you boys. All the best, and all these
100%.
lot. Make sure they're liking and subscribing.
Yeah, and go and hit that subscribe button on Forest Fan TV. I'm sure some great content about to come up very, very soon.
I'll
on
have some
his
choice
channel.
words for Spurs. Don't worry.
Cheers for
All the
coming
best,
on,
boys.
mate. All right.
So that's Nikki saying he ain't bothered about well, Kudus going to Spurs because he was rubbish. You got Wolfie saying, hey, he's overrated, he ain't going to do it at Tottenham. Anyone would have thought these players are rubbish. These players are nonsense, apparently.
It's not like Morgan Gibbs-White wasn't nominated for PFA Player of the Year or anything like that.
Just a bit of salt, I think, from these fans, I think, coming on the show today. Just a tad.
This is brilliant. This is so brilliant, man.
Fantastic.
I just can't remember the last time Spurs have ever acted like this. I don't think it's ever happened.
Never. And it's just insane how they've done it so quickly, one after the other. Bam, bam.
Bam, bam.
Wonder if they just, I don't know, wonder what's changed. Why do release, do the release clause now? Where after negotiating for Kudus, maybe they just wanted to concentrate on getting Kudus first, but it's very interesting. All the timings.
What other deals are they working on? What else are they cooking there behind the scenes?
Nothing can be ruled out right now. Nothing can be ruled out. If you're a fan of a Premier League team, none of your stars are safe. None of your stars are safe.
Tottenham are coming.
We're coming for all of you.
We're coming for all your stars.
You better hold them tight. You might end up losing
everyone in
them.
the comments keeps saying Kudus is done.
Yeah, I haven't seen any announcement. I don't know. Well, we obviously, I don't know if they're referencing that video of him in the training ground because we showed that already.
The Spurs Twitter X has been suspiciously quiet, so definitely something is brewing here. And they haven't tweeted since they tweeted the fixture change at 3:00 yesterday.
They're getting ready for a big barrage.
So I think it's going to come pretty soon.
What are we saying? 7 o'clock?
Imminent.
7 o'clock announcement? What are we thinking?
There's all these ITKs talking about Adam Wharton as well.
Adam Wharton, yeah. Maybe that's something we're working in the shadows. There's someone who's found a video of Maddison and Gibbs-White last summer doing training together.
Yeah, at the time.
So they're clearly friends. Maybe got some Age of Maddison in his ear.
Hey. This is just mad, isn't it? This is just mad.
2 here we goes. 2 massive here we goes.
On my way into the studio today, I thought we were just going to be on Kudus watch, like non-stop all day. Barely talked about Kudus today.
Literally.
That call with Nikki seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh,
it's absolutely mad.
God, how things have escalated.
Danny Bowles in the comments says, we are cooking. We are cooking on gas right now, people. Oh, my days. Morgan Gibbs-White is a Tottenham player. Mohamed Kudus is a Tottenham player.
I think we've got some more super chats we haven't got to yet.
Yeah, let's get into
them. So the last one I read was the Bakuti. So Mal says Edison, Hillman, or Richard Rios. Pick one.
Edison, Hillman, or Richard Rios. I'll probably go Edison.
Yeah, Edison, I think, for me. C9 Manic says Gibbs-White and Kudus. You have to give credit to Levy when it's due. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with the Gibbs-White. Obviously, Kudus obviously getting money off that deal. And Gibbs-White for just agreeing to stump up the cash. They saw an opportunity. Look, he's got a release clause. Either we stump up the bloody cash or we're probably not going to get him. So they did it. Fair enough.
Yeah, 100%. And
which we never do. We usually negotiate these things for better payment terms.
I've read as well that this Morgan Gibbs-White deal has been very much... What's this? A coaching staff update Tottenham have just given us. It's been very much forwarded by Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank has led this.
This what, sorry?
This deal for Morgan Gibbs-White.
Frank was heading up. Oh, absolutely insane. Where else are we? C9 Manic as well says, Mr. President, there's been a second here we go. Oh God. That's a 9/11 reference. I appreciate it though. Mini League says, I've designed a Lego's Tottenham Stadium. All right, let's send us a picture.
I've actually got a Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Lego set that I was supposed to bring in and we were supposed to make it, but it's never got out of the box yet.
Were we ever going to... It's going to take hours to do that, isn't it? I don't know how intricate it is.
It's pretty.
Dark Sun G21 says, Gibbs-White is similar to Eze, but younger and stronger.
Gibbs-White is similar to Eze, but he's not really similar to Eze.
I think they're very different players, actually. He's a lot more physical, Gibbs-White. A lot broader shoulders. Eze's more... I think Eze's got a bit more creativity in his boots. Probably better shot in him. I think Gibbs-White's better like playing through balls along the ground, hard-working, better like... I think he's like a stronger ball carrier, but Eze's a better dribbler. So it's kind of different skill sets.
What do we need more?
That's a good question. Good question. What do we need more? I think maybe a Gibbs-White, because I think Eze, in a weird way, is quite similar to Maddison. So I think he's kind of... obviously, he's a bit of a faster dribbler, but I think he's fairly similar profile. So Maddison's kind of the one, the magic in his boots, and then Gibbs-White is kind of like... How would I describe Gibbs-White if I'm comparing him to like another player? I'm trying to think. He's like a Morgan Rogers.
Who, Gibbs-White?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, he's quite similar to Morgan Rogers. He's like very good ball carrier, really good in those in between the lines, that kind of thing. I think he's quite similar to him. That's how I'd describe him. White Wolves says, Morgan Gibbs-White is a great player, but for me, he's not what we need in our situation. Our problem was the defence, and we still need a natural 6 left back to rotate with a doggy. Let's talk about our sold players. Now, I understand the concerns. I think there are those concerns, to be fair, and I think anyone saying he's not exactly should be the priority, I think there's fair arguments for that way of thinking, but also think when you got that quality available, you bring him in.
Yeah, but if we're led to believe that this was pushed by Thomas Frank, he's the one building the squad, and he's the one that's going to have to pick between these players. So he clearly has seen a need for him. So I'm willing to go with what Frank wants.
Yeah, I also think there is a need for it. I think as much as maybe not priority, but as we've said, Decky probably has a serious injury. Madison, can't play that much a lot of the time, and so we might need a player who can take a lot of those minutes, who can play a lot of games. Luke Hutchins with a super chat with no message. Big up to him. Asif Asgar says Vinay changed the million to the K, and Levy fell for it. Brilliant. Michael Hellman says we are massive.
We really are. We really are. We're pulling our weight around like it's nobody's business in this transfer.
Taking our rivals' best player, taking the teams that had a good season, their best player when they're looking to kick on. Don't underestimate how big we are.
Spurs are taking liberties in this transfer market right now.
And last one is from our Artisty best midfield. Imagine Eze, Gibbs-White, and Madders. Yeah, we're never going to have those three together.
So we just await some announcements now. We got the Kudus announcement to come. We got the Gibbs-White announcement to come. When are they going to come out? I mean, surely soon.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, who knows? I think they said if all going well, we'll get the Kudus announcement today, and we've already seen they are. We've already seen leaked images and videos of him. Basically, I guess, shooting the announcement video. So that could be imminent. That could be any point. I don't know. I don't know when exactly it's going to be. Who knows?
Vicario clearly getting excited. He's liking Fabrizio Romano's "Here We Go" post on Instagram for Morgan Gibbs-White.
So everyone is getting ready.
Training ground must be absolutely buzzing today.
Yeah, 100%. Especially he's got friends there. He's got former teammates there.
But look, let's leave it there for now, and we'll come back on if there's the announcement video and everything like that. But yeah, that is one hell of a stream today, people. So big up to everyone that's come and joined in. We've still got 2,220 people.
Are you not entertained
in the live chat? So everyone, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. We'll be back with you very, very soon. If there's no announcement, we'll be back at 9 o'clock anyway for another live stream for you guys. So you might see us sooner than that. Who knows right now?
Wouldn't rule it out.
I wouldn't rule it out either. But what a mad 48 hours in the life of a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Hopefully more to come. But yeah, smash that subscribe button, people. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs!